Outside the Coliseum in Edmonton. Tonight, it's a different captain, a remodeled cast, but the same polish. The Edmonton Oilers are poised as we get set for Game 5 of the Stanley Cup Championship.
Molson Hockey Night in Canada on CBC. Going into Game 4 Tuesday, John Muckler spoke of the need to combat complacency.
We were too successful in Boston. We won both hockey games there, and we never expected to win both hockey games. And then coming back into Edmonton to play the third game, I don't think our concentration level was high for the simple reason I don't think we played with a lot of fear. I think we all felt that we had a cushion here.
Feeling was the Cup would remain on hold until the Oilers' big line opened up. There was widespread criticism pointing to 11. Then came the 11 points. Messier, Anderson, and Simpson set out to crush their critics and beat the Bruins by accomplishing both feats. They now have one hand on the Stanley Cup.
Brought to you by Molson Canadian, what beer's all about. By Ford of Canada, where quality is more than a commitment, quality is job one. By Esso, going that extra mile. And by Pepsi, it's got what it takes.
One year ago, the Calgary Flames kept the Cup in Alberta, but they won it on foreign soil at the Forum. The Oilers hope for a road victory in the Stanley Cup Championship tonight. They'll try to do it at historic Boston Garden for the first time in the playoffs. The Bruins are on the brink, and it's in their home rink that they'll try to stave off elimination in Game 5 this evening. Good evening and welcome to the Garden and to Molson Hockey Night in Canada on CBC and the Stanley Cup Championship Series. I'm Ron McLean. The Oilers' search for silver tonight will be conducted in a gold mine. There's 15,000 fans. All are clad in gold T-shirts. This was Mike Milbury's idea. He wanted the fans to wear gold, so they went out, found a sponsor. They shipped in the shirts 17 hours overnight. They put the Bruins logos all over them, and the fans are gleefully wearing those and hope they work in this game tonight. To find out what else is on the Boston head coach's mind, let's go now to Mike Milbury and Chris Cuthbert.
Mike, is there one overriding theme or message you want to get across to your players tonight?
Yeah, I think it's a simple one. We just simply have to beat Edmonton tonight. The focus of our approach has to be very narrow. We can't worry about being down 3-1. You just have to go out and play one game. If you win one game, you get another challenge presented to you. But right now, if I pose the question to the people in the room, can you beat Edmonton in one game? Sure, we can. Why not? We've done it before. We've done it several times this year. And I think if we can keep it that way and avoid some of the pressure of being down 3-1, we'll be much better off because of it.
John Muckler said yesterday he felt his team was outworking the Bruins, which seemed to be a surprise going into the series. You would think that's one department that you would be ahead in. Has it been the difference?
I don't think there's. I think that's crazy. I think that's obviously a coach who's proud of his team and wants to let everybody know that they are a hard-working team. You know, the whole image of the Oilers has been finesse and wheel and deal, but everybody in hockey knows for the longest time that they've learned how to check and how to work hard, and I don't think anybody who's a Stanley Cup champion can be a Stanley Cup champion without the element of hard work. But as far as outworking us, I think that's a ridiculous statement.
Mike Milbury clearly got the attention when John Muckler had that to say. Muckler had some equally zesty words about the Edmonton perspective on tonight's game.
We have to get to Boston early in the game. We have to take any hope away from them that they have. We have to discourage them, and if we're able to do that early in the game, I think we can get the job done. But if we can't do that, the longer the game goes and Boston's still in it or they're ahead, then the better chance they have of winning.
This team has accomplished so much over the years, but they've never won a Stanley Cup away from home. Is that a piece of history you'd like to take home tonight?
Not really. I feel sorry for the Edmonton fans. You know, you'd like to win it at home. You'd like to win it in front of your home fans, but it's a case that we have to get the job done now. You don't want to wait too long, and the longer the series goes without us winning the game that we're looking for, the more pressure we're going to put on ourselves, the more difficult it will become.
So that's the story from those coaches, and now what about ours?
This is my bodyguard, right, kid?
Right, Grapes.
All right, so watch these guys. Mike Milbury wants to win this game. I'll tell you why. Every game he wants to win. He was with me back in the 70s when Montreal Canadiens skated around this rink. There's no greater humiliation is to have the other team skate around with the Stanley Cup. And I heard John Muckler say that he wants to win at home, and I'm sure he does for the fans. Believe me, I know for a fact they want to win on the road. They want to get together. They've never won on the road. They want to win on the road, and you know why.
No, why?
Well, all those floaters in the dressing room, they never ever get to see the cup. They want to go out and have a good time with the cup on the road, believe me.
Don, the Bruins are trying something else here this evening. Ray Bourque, their captain, has taken the beard off.
Well, that's it. I guess that they can do. They can turn the other cheek. He can see it now.
All right, it's Game 5 of the 1990 Stanley Cup Championship Series. The Oilers want to win it. The Bruins want to remain alive. Coming up, 15,000 of the fans like the one here to bodyguard Don Cherry when Molson Hockey Night in Canada returns in a moment. We're back in Boston once more, getting set for Game 5 of the 1990 final. The Edmonton Oilers and Boston Bruins are at the Garden in the broadcast booth tonight to provide the accounts of the game. Bob Cole and Harry Neal. Now let's go live rinkside.
Ceremonial unit. Now, ladies and gentlemen, here is our national anthems. Tonight to be sung by Mr. Rene Rancourt, accompanied by organist Ron Harry.
Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all thy sons command. With glowing heart we see thee rise, the true north strong and free. From far and wide, oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh, say can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and the bright stars through the perilous fight of the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the
broadcast booth at the old Boston Garden. It might be old, but it's a lot of fun, and they're really crammed in here tonight to cheer on the Boston Bruins. Andy Van Hellemond is the referee for this game. Ray Scapinello and Swede Knox are the two linesmen. As he has on 21 other occasions in this year's postseason, Billy Ranford gets John Muckner's call tonight. Ranford's 15 wins, one short of the playoff record, a win tonight, and he'll tie Grant Fuhr and Mike Vernon. Most of all, though, he'll be a member of his second Stanley Cup team. For Boston, Andy Moog, this little guy has fueled this year's playoffs with perseverance and personality. Van Hellemond comes to center ice. In front of Ranford, Gregg and Huddy, Messier, Simpson, Anderson. In front of Moog, Wesley and Bort, Carpenter, Carter, and Christian. Simpson starts out the center and gets a hit right off the bat. Messier coming in there, and he's ridden in on the boards by Carpenter. The Bruins obviously going for the first goal. The first goal has been a big one in this series, as you know. And the Oilers would dearly love to have it right here. Christian coming out. Wesley from center. First save of the game. Ranford. Stick save. Gregg back to the net. Up it goes to center ice. Messier charging in there. Two Bruins watching him. Intercepted by Lowe. He's in there with Lamb in front of the net, and Lowe was jammed. Weak shot, missing on the short side, off the stick of Jelena. Centered again. Here comes Kevin Lowe to pick it up. Lowe looking for the front of the net, in around the goal. Now he centers it. Lamb was covered. Lamb on the puck. Jelena trying to play it out front, and Peterson was knocked down by Jelena. Lamb in there. Lamb around the net. Tried to center it. Now he does. Curry's shot is blocked by Peterson. Pass to center to Carter. The Bruins want to make changes. What a torrid pace setting to start this game.
Well, the Boston Bruins, Bob, need some early success in the first 8 or 10 minutes. And the Oilers know it.
Here's Murphy with Graves. Coming up over the line. Look out, Smith! Shot on the short side. He just missed. Oilers are on it. The play called. And the net apparently is off the magnets in behind Andy Moog. 1:56. Solid action in the first period.
Steve Smith, who's third in the National League among defensemen in playoff scoring and leads his Oilers, jumps into a rush early in this game and gets a great opportunity, but shoots it wide on the short side on Andy Moog. The score remains 0-0.
Oilers win the face-off inside the Boston line. Bort circling in the corner, and he gets his shot from Graves. Oilers on it. Murphy's drive. That's off the leg and bounces behind the net. Jelena centered, and Bork again. Johnston is covered by Smith. Murphy on the puck, centered it in front of the goal. Now Smith at the blue line with a screen shot. That was away wide. In back of the net, Graves again. Oilers putting the pressure on here in the early going. Here's Murphy. Murphy turning away from Carpenter, made a play to Jelena, back to Murphy. Carpenter trying to check Murphy on the boards. The puck loose there. Jelena moving up on it. Jelena so good with the puck, now knocked down, and there's going to be a penalty to Bort of Boston. First penalty of the hockey game, and the captain, Ray Bort, is going off. Bort cross-checking, and again, great work by Martin Jelena.
After about a 40-second siege of forechecking by the Oilers' kid line and no Bruin being able to knock any Oiler down, Raymond Bourque finally does it, but takes a cross-checking penalty for his efforts. And the Oilers have an early power play against the Boston Bruins here in Game 5. Raymond Bourque, beardless as you can see. And there are the stats as far as the Oilers are concerned on the power play.
Ruotsalainen couldn't stop it. He's with Smith, Messier, Anderson, and Simpson, the forward line for Edmonton. Ruotsalainen to Messier. Messier gliding in there. Here is Simpson centering it. Messier has it in the corner now. A good play for Ruotsalainen inside of the net. Simpson was in close and just failed to make contact in front of the net. Ranford out to stop it for Smith. Messier was moving. Now Smith goes in over the line, squeezing by Galley on the boards. It'll come back on the other side to Messier. Messier can't keep it in. Messier quickly gets it back to Ruotsalainen. Simpson now has to go in. He gets away from Galley. Ran into his man on the boards. It has been called icing. Simpson has been very physical for the Edmonton Oilers in this series. He's showing it again tonight.
That's what the Oilers are complaining about, Bob. The check after the icing. Among the players, it's a no-no. It's a cheap shot. And you can see that they're still upset about it. Referee Andy Van Hellemond did not call a penalty. And the reason is that after you touch the puck, you often let up. You know the play's over. And to take a late hit is tough. Van Hellemond is now over talking to Mike Milbury, who's bitterly complaining about that check by Simpson after the icing and after the whistle was blown.
He looks calm enough.
Muckler says, what's the big problem? It was icing. That's the call you wanted, isn't it, when you're down a man?
And down a man for another 103. Ray Bourque in the penalty box. Messier stays on. Bob Sweeney will try to win the faceoff. Burridge is on there to help kill the penalty for Boston. Galley and Wesley. Curry is on the ice with Messier. And Tikkanen, the other forward. Messier waved out. Tikkanen will come in. Face-off to the left of the Oiler net. Curry. The pass in behind Messier, and he has to back up with it. Burridge was forechecking for Boston. 50 seconds left in the penalty. Tikkanen starting out to Messier on the fly. Grabbed the pass and rolled it in there. Charges after it. He and Galley bump in the corner. Here comes Burridge to the Boston Bruins. Puck in on the skate of Galley. Now he kicks it loose. Huddy at the blue line. Other side for Gregg. That's intercepted. Bob Sweeney moved it out. Gregg again to Curry. Curry over the line, and it is called. There's a penalty coming up to Tikkanen of the Edmonton Oilers.
Tikkanen held Bob Sweeney as they were both going to the bench. One of Tikkanen's little tricks to upset opponents is to grab them, hold them, run a little interference. That time Andy Van Hellemond was watching, and with 25 seconds left in Raymond Bourque's penalty, Esa Tikkanen takes a holding penalty. It had absolutely nothing to do with where the puck was, as both Tikkanen and Sweeney were leaving the ice. You know, at the Boston Garden, Bob, quickness, Milbury was telling me this, quickness more than all-out speed is a more important factor here than at Northland's Coliseum. And Mike feels that his team is just as quick as the Oiler team, but not as fast, and he may have a point. They're going to have to be quick tonight by the looks of how the Oilers are skating early in this game.
Played 4:32 of the first period. And we've seen just 3 shots so far, 2 by Edmonton.
Well, John Muckler can afford to gamble a little bit, and I think he is gambling here on the road. Look at the pressure they put on Boston right away. When you're up 3-1, you have a margin of error, obviously, that Boston doesn't have.
Neely nearly intercepted a pass in front of the net. Now Markland goes in there and he falls to the ice. There's another penalty coming up, and it's going to be against the Boston Bruins. Galley, the defenseman, is going off for holding with 11 seconds left in Bourque's penalty. 1:47 in the penalty to Tikkanen. 2 Bruins in the penalty box, and the latest to arrive, Gary Galley, caught for holding at 4:45.
Let's have a look at it. Here's Galley holding on the way in. The Boston defensemen, once they take their hand off the stick, especially the smaller ones like Galley, always hold. And Andy caught him. And for 11 seconds, the Oilers will be 4 against 3 in the skating department.
Bourque gets ready to come on now. Anderson is in there. He's knocked to the ice by Wesley. And now Wesley falls, and they smother the puck. And the face-off is going to be in the Boston zone to the right of Andy Moog.
Nice, smart play by Wesley. First, he was nice and aggressive on Anderson. But second, when he had Anderson down and he was kind of falling on him, he had the presence of mind to shovel the puck under him. And, you know, they were 2 men down for this 11 seconds. And you don't want loose pucks when you're in the corner all tied up with one of the opponents. It would have been 4 skaters, or 3 skaters to 2 then. A good play by Wesley.
Bourque standing up in the penalty box. 2 seconds left in his penalty. Now he is on the ice again. Smith has the puck. Bourque was moving on Ruotsalainen. Bourque takes the puck and comes in for Boston. Bourque trying to go for the net. Poked away by Ruotsalainen to the line and kept in. Carpenter has it in the corner. Looking around, trying to find somebody open. Oilers, Steve Smith. Stopped by Bourque. Messier was dumped. Bourque gets set, shoots. Saved by Ranford. Bruins are on it. Wesley gets it back to Christian. Christian to Bourque. Bourque was in close, sharp angle. Now pass back to Carpenter, and his shot stopped by Ranford. Ranford, the stand-up goaltender, looking very cool as the Bruins are pressing a bit until Messier gets going. And here he is with Anderson. 1 man back there. Messier to Anderson. Save, Andy Moog. Bourque back to center. Janney coming up there. Here's the play to Bourque. He missed it. Neely lost it. Oilers come out again. Anderson is Messier on his right. Huddy going for the net. Can't make the play. Out for Don Sweeney. He has Janney on their play. Takes a high shot over the net. Neely and Hawgood keep it in, but now Huddy. He's knocked flying by Neely. Bruins come to life now. Janney gets set. Takes the shot. That's blocked. Tikkanen flipped it out. Simpson to center. And to get rid of it. Simpson up after it. He's going in with Curry. Here is Curry in front of the net. He can't get the puck to him. Hawgood diving, knocked it away from Simpson. Simpson in there again. Tikkanen on it. No score in his first period. Played 7 minutes. And it's been hectic. Curry left it back of the goal. In on the boards. Tikkanen rides his man. Simpson looks out front of the net, takes it from Galley as he did. Don Sweeney for Boston. Shoots it to center. Janney. Hawgood. Hawgood shot. Broke his stick with that one. Muni and Lowe get together. They get the puck up to Gelinas. Look at him go in. Gelinas. Nice play on the far side for Graves. And Graves takes it. Centered it. Murphy is stopped. Bruins get going again. Peterson brings it over the line and dropped it. Shot. Missed the goal. Bob Sweeney nowhere near the net on that shot. Smith given a bump by Sweeney. Takes the puck goal. And then takes another hit from Burridge. Murphy is hit hard by Sweeney. Murphy takes a look. Sweeney hit him again. Galley back in his own zone. With Bice. He falls. Bruins move up on the puck. Oh, and a hit at center ice on Galley by Graves. Smith and Murphy. Murphy's shot kicked out by Moog. That was a fine save by Andy Moog. McTavish trying to make a play. 8.5 minutes gone. End to end now in this 5th game at the Boston Garden. Off the boards for McTavish. He knifed at it, and it goes inside the Boston line. Bourque back. Oilers change. Here comes Bork. Johnston on the right wing. Long shot, nowhere near the goal. Off the boards to Prop. Byers is knocked flat and hurt. Bookberger in for Edmonton. His shot juggled by Andy Moog. And he holds it. Byers was hurt inside the Edmonton line.
He's lying there. The trainer sees him. I don't know whether he's dazed because he got hit in the head or he hurt his knee. Byers had not played a game in this series, and I thought it was a good move by Milbury to get him in. Let's have a look at the hit right here. It's his own player. Byers runs into Raymond Bork, and Bork gets up, and Byers doesn't. And it was one of those knee-on-knee collisions. Look at this. Bork doesn't even know who hit him. And Byers got on the wrong street and couldn't get off it. And you can see him holding his knee there. I rather think it's that. But I was saying that I thought Byers was a good addition. In this small rink, he could bang around because the Oilers, I won't say intimidated, but they certainly were number one in the physical department in Game 4 in Edmonton.
We've played just 9 minutes of the period, and brother, have these two teams come out to put on a show tonight. End to end, some solid hits.
Well, Lyndon Byers sits in the runway to the dressing room. He didn't go all the way to the runway while the trainer looks at him and sees if he's ready to continue. And here's a great play by Hawgood. He went down early, but he got his stick on the puck. Simpson had a man in the clear on the 2-on-1. And here's a real solid hit by Adam Graves on Glenn Wesley. I'm sure he thought he ran into the Oiler equipment truck.
Face off to the right of Moog. Wesley to Don Sweeney. Up with Carpenter. Christian trailing. Carter trying to go to the corner, and he's hauled down. McTavish in back of the net. Bumped Christian hard. Bork being bothered by Klima. Bookberger and McTavish, the other forwards on for Edmonton. Carter with Christian and Carpenter for Boston. Good play by McTavish, getting away from Galley. In goes Bookberger with Klima. Right in there. He hit the side of the net. Now he's out front and can't get his stick on it. Carpenter going up over the Edmonton line. Shoots it quickly. Rebound. The net goes flying. Christian missed on a second chance. Carter kept going into the net. The Bruins come close, though, on that rush, and Ranford makes another fine stop.
Well, the Boston Bruins are giving up. That's the third 2-on-1 they gave up before this good rush by the Bruins. And Bookberger should have scored on it. He makes a good play not passing. Don Sweeney gambled he would pass. He didn't, but he couldn't get his backhand up. And then he tries to center it out. Bruins take over and get a pretty good rush on this one. Carpenter shoots it. Carter's going to the net, gets his stick on it, and then slides into the post and knocks it off.
There's that stand-up style of Billy Ranford again. He made the first stop and did not go down. He stayed on his skates and was in great position to make the second save.
I think you can credit Ron Lowe with doing a lot of work with Billy Ranford, especially standing still and standing up. Two things he didn't do too well when he first came to the Oilers.
Prop comes back for Boston. Neely takes the pass, and Prop is up there with him. Neely shoots. Oh, another glove save by Ranford. Lightning fast glove hand of Billy Ranford. Stop that. A scramble in front of the net. Neely fired it on the glass and got it out of the zone and down the ice, and Peterson hustling back against Tikkanen. No icing. Good hustle by Tikkanen of the Edmonton Oilers. Neely lost it. Messier's shot is blocked. Messier was drilled by Peterson after taking the shot. Hawgood coming out with Prop. Prop over the line. Neely is with him. Neely can't get a shot away. He was checked by Tikkanen. Messier looking around. Hawgood is going off. Burry John. Messier goes by him for Watsalainen, and he lost it. Now Burry, gent for Boston. Quick shot deflected by Smith off his stick. And over the glass behind Ranford.
Well, to win hockey games in the Stanley Cup Finals and also to win the Cup, your big-time players have to produce. And here's the exact reason why the Bruins are down 3-1 in this series.
.856 left in the opening period. No score. Lamb squaring off with Bob Sweeney, who wins the draw, and Bork slides a pass. Wesley had to backhand it and around the net. Burridge is in there trying to dig it out against Ruotsalainen. Bob Sweeney comes in. Lamb caught him. Sweeney again. And Lamb once more caught him. Prevented him from making a play. Lamb shoots it behind his own net. Smith rolled it to the other side. Curry, realizing the pressure is on, trying to slap it out and couldn't. And the Bruins keep pushing in there. Here's Ruotsalainen relieving the pressure now and looping it down the ice. He just put it easy up on the boards. Bruins right in front of the net was Bork. They lose it in there. Curry tried to make a play for Lamb and Bork covered. Curry again. Boston out. Gould races over the Edmonton line. Bruins were changing. He's alone on the play. Oilers dump it out again. Don Sweeney. He circles with Byers. Takes the pass. Shoots it in. Ranford missed it back to the net. Johnston couldn't center it for Byers. Here's Sweeney. He just missed. Galley shot. Tipped in front of the net. Oilers get it out. 3 of them. Curry carries the puck with Jelena going for the net. Curry slipped it in there. Jelena out front. Oh, and he just missed. What a great play by Jelena to pick it up in front of the goal. He is quick and dangerous. Martin Jelena. He's going to be around for a long time and with big numbers, mind you. Murphy is up there with him this time. Here is Graves. Jelena knocked down. Graves a high shot. Both dropped it and knocked it away. Byers slipped it down the ice. Kevin Lowe coming back. Around the net. Up for Murphy. Murphy had to slip back to get away from Carter. Takes the puck and now has to roll it up over the Boston line. Kevin Lowe back. McTavish is away with it. Up with Klima. Dropped it for Klima. He is coming in. And the shot, an easy one, is scooped up by Andy Moog. And Moog hangs on to it. 6 minutes and 26 seconds left in the first period. And still no score.
Well, anyone who knows Andy Moog knows that he'd be right at the top of his game tonight. Martin Jelena has been a thorn in the side of the Bruins in Game 4 and now again tonight as Sweeney loses the puck. And as Jelena's going down, he gets a shot away. And this line of Murphy, Graves, and Jelena have played almost the whole period in the Bruin end. Raymond Bork has to be careful waltzing through his own crease with the puck. Nearly cost his team a goal.
McTavish and Carpenter square off on this one. It's hooked in back to the net by Carpenter. Christian takes it out of the zone for Boston. The pass stopped near center ice by Ruotsalainen. Here's McTavish coming in there. McTavish around the goal against Hoggood. Circles back again. Twice he got away from Hoggood. And now Smith plays it back in front. Klima is there and lost it. Carpenter coming back out. He was upended. Ruotsalainen turning. Steve Smith shoots it in. McTavish way ahead of him on the play. So Bruins come out with it. Hoggood. Lost to Messier coming in with Anderson. Messier trying to go for the net. Anderson shot off the arm of Moog. And it goes up over the glass. Moog just got his left arm up. And it hit him and went into the crowd.
Well, Andy Moog has been sharp as his opponent Ranford has been. And that puck that went off the Oiler goaltender into the top by Anderson right here. Now Moog is saying he didn't touch it, that it hit the crossbar and went out. Van Helleman says, Andy, you made the save. That's why it went out. So the faceoff remains in the Bruins zone.
Messier put it right in on the net, on the backhand, winning the faceoff. Bruins shoot it down the ice. No icing. Frank had to hurry back. Gave it to Simpson. Anderson shot it to center ice. Janney drops it back for Boston to Peterson. Now Neely. He has a little bit of room there. Neely coming in. He stopped in front of the goal. Messier has Bork tied up. It's still inside the line. Peterson's shot. That's blocked. Greg fell in front of it. Messier and Anderson again. And Peterson intercepted that pass. Neely tripped up at center ice. Muni gets the puck out of the zone for the Oilers. Curry to Huddy. Can't reach it. Huddy is back. And flipping one down inside the Boston line. Don Sweeney back there with 4:35 remaining in the opening period. No score. To center ice. The Bruins in. Bob Sweeney and Burridge, but the Oilers break it up. Lamb with Curry and Tikkanen coming in. And Curry's quick shot off Moog's glove. And then it bounced out over the line. Don Sweeney. Now Bob Sweeney. He is stopped by Lowe, and Lowe knocked down by Bob Sweeney, and Galley turning around. Galley comes up over the line. Galley lost it. Oilers get it up, and Lamb didn't see the pass. Galley without a stick. Rolled it back inside the line to Wesley. Two Oilers in deep forechecking. Sweeney drops it. Weiss gets it up to Burridge. Burridge along the blue line. Now he rolled it in there, and Radford, the only player who saw it, was the goaltender. Bob Sweeney didn't know the puck was in his skates. Ranford did. Bob Cole with Harry Neal. Ron McLean, Don Cherry, Chris Cuthbert at the Boston Garden for Game 5. Ranford gloving one again. Loose puck in front of the net. And the Oilers cover up. Murphy roll the puck as far as the line. Smith coming out over the line and near center before he shoots it in. Wesley going back to take it away from the goaltender Moog. Smith pinching in. Bruins come out. Janney carries the puck up over the line and dropped it. Here's Hallgood. Nice save by Radford. Another shot that's blocked by Graves. He's alone on the rush though. Graves up over the line and two Bruins are back. And Graves is dumped by Peterson. That allows Bork to come to center. Bork, long shot. Stick save by Ranford. Here's Tikkanen. Less than 3 minutes to play in the period. No score. Messier falls. Has the puck under control, though, and slipped it back. Griggs rink-wide pass to Huddy. Doesn't work. Myers flipped it in for Johnston, who is hit immediately by Gregg. Now Galley shot. Screened. Ranford saw it. Here's another shot. That one off the leg, and Ranford comes diving out to hold the puck. And there's no further play. 2:27 left in the opening period, and it's solid Stanley Cup hockey tonight at the Boston Garden.
Without question. In Game 4, the Oilers created all the pace, and Boston couldn't keep up to them. Tonight, both teams are flying, and it's been a superb exhibition of hockey. Hallgood, who joins the rush better than any other Bruin defenseman, forces Bill Ranford to make a real fine save as he took a drop pass and from 30 feet out took the shot. And Alan Peterson on Adam Graves, and this has been a great hockey game. Physical, fast, and sensible.
From the draw, Galley from the blue line. Slipped a pass to Sweeney. His low pass goes by everybody wide of the net. Johnston roll it in front. Myers band on it. Anderson out with Messier and McTavish. Messier to the line and in. He can't get going. Stopped at the line. Oilers keep it in. Off Moog. It was loose for a second, but Anderson was covered. Back in for Don Sweeney. Myers missed it. Don Sweeney gave it to Myers. He's moving up there with Gould, and here's Messier intercepting. Bourque was back. Got a piece of it. Now Simpson fooling Bourque and go in. Simpson jammed on the break, centered it. Lamb in front of the net. Here's a shot. That one just missed. And Byers has to shoot it away the length of the ice as the Oilers storm back and apply some pressure inside the Boston line. For a preview of our first intermission tonight in this fine hockey game, let's check in with Ron McLean.
Thank you, Bob. In the first intermission this evening, I'll talk with the delightful youngster Martin Gélina of the Edmonton Oilers and the good old fellow Don Cherry in the coach's corner.
And we have 1 minute and 29 seconds left in this first period. The shots are even, 10-10. Everything is even. There's no score.
Does this period have to end, Coley? This is the best period of hockey I've seen in the 1990 playoffs.
From the face-off, into the corner it goes, and Wesley is on it. Wesley has to wait for Christian to come back. He faked the pass, so Wesley carried out, got it through to Carter to Christian. Christian in with Carpenter. And that is called offside. Carpenter was in ahead of the play. 1:13 remaining in this first period. No better game when you get two top teams putting out like this.
Bobby Carpenter's played a lot of hockey in the finals here for the Boston Bruins. He's one of the few players in the National League that uses the waxed yellow skate laces. Most use white. He doesn't wear socks. He ties his skates up very tightly and says the yellow ones keep them tighter than do the white ones. Not because the Bruins have yellow in their uniform.
Lowe shoots it in, and we're into the final minute of the opening period. Wesley hit near center, and Lowe just shoveled the puck off the boards, and Bourque takes it again for Wesley. He lost it to Curry. He left it at center ice, gets it again, up for Lamb, and Wesley stopped him. Bourque to Wesley. Wesley flipped it in. With 35 seconds left, the Bruin defense changes quickly. Lowe in front of the net. Curry tipped it down the ice, and Peterson on there now for Boston up the galley. Steve Smith watches for walks the line and come back, and here's Messier, front of the goal, knocked down, and Smith was there to recover for the Oilers. Two Bruins were in there, but Messier was checked. 10 seconds left in the period. Neely moving up, can't get room for a shot. And this first period comes to a close with Neely and Smith bumping along the boards. And what a period here in Game 5, this first one tonight.
Well, it was a superb period. The Boston Bruins still having trouble scoring when they get good chances. You know, only 3 forwards have scored a goal in this series, and 2 of those forwards, Johnson and Weiss, were not with the team when the playoffs started. They need some regulars scoring a goal or 2 if they want to prolong this series.
In that first period, the shots were even, 10 apiece. No scoring, and Martin Gélina will be along in a moment to chat with Ron McLean. If this is a sign of things to come, great hockey game. You can't leave us. Score in the first. No score.
Pete Babando's not necessarily a name that pops to mind when discussing the Stanley Cup playoffs, but in April of 1950, he was the toast of hockey. His story tonight on Ford's Great Moments in Hockey. The 1950 final pitted Detroit against the New York Rangers. Strangely, the Rangers' home ice was unavailable for a pair of games in the final, so New York played those at Toronto's Maple Leaf Gardens. The Wings had finished 21 points ahead of New York in the regular season, but that didn't stop the determined Rangers. The Wings had many stars. Pete Babando was not one of them, but he would be the hero. At 8:31 of the second overtime in Game 7, he backhanded a shot past Charlie Rayner, and the Wings outlasted the Rangers 4-3. Great Moments in Hockey is presented by Ford of Canada. The Sky's the limit in this one so far. No score, the Bruins and Oilers. Second period action's coming up when Hockey Night in Canada returns after this.
This portion of Molson Hockey Night in Canada on CBC has been brought to you by Ford of Canada, where quality is more than a commitment. Quality is job one.
Literally the biggest fan of the Boston Bruins tonight, Kevin McHale of the Celtics. Kevin, your thoughts on the first period and the series so far?
Well, the first game hurt them. You know, I thought they really outplayed them the first game. They outskated and they outshot them. They lose the game. Kind of had a bad setting of the whole series. Luckily, they won that third game. They're back here. They really stood them up. I thought they stood up well in the blue line, knocked some people down, taking the body a lot more than in the previous games. And I think the Bruins are in good shape. They got to just keep grinding away.
And somebody says, well, what does a basketball player know about it? You're from Hibbing, Minnesota. You used to play hockey.
Played hockey all the way through Pee-wees and all the way on up. I love hockey. I watch a lot of games. If we're playing tonight, I'll tape the game and watch it later.
Okay, the Bruins have lasted a little longer than the Celtics the last couple of years. What's going on?
Well, we got to make some changes. We got to get some speed. We got to get like the Oilers. We got to get some speed up front and get the people that can go with the ball. We got to make some subtle changes. We're only a couple players away from getting back to where we've been. We got to get there.
Kevin, thank you. A real pleasure. Now back upstairs to Bob and Harry.
Thank you, Chris, and the two teams ready to go. And you look at the history of the Celtics, it'll take you 10 minutes to look around this building. There are Boston Celtics championship banners all over the place.
And that McHale would be a good defenseman. What a reach he'd have there. He could stand in the middle of the rink and touch both boards.
No scores. Second period underway now. The teams are at full strength. Only 3 penalties have been called, 2 of them against the Bruins, all minors in the first period. And it's Janney going right in on goal. Oh, and Radford took it away from him. Now the play is whistled dead. But Janney had a great opportunity to spark the Bruins with the first goal of the game. But here he is again, Billy Radford.
Boy, Radford made a great stop on a very clever hockey player in Craig Janney, who's taken a lot of abuse in the Boston press. Now here is Janney at his best. We haven't seen that very often. And Radford looks like he's in trouble, but he got it anyway. A great stop. A fan stopped me coming into the rink and told me that he thought Janney was lousy, played worse in Game 4 than a stop clock. I said, a stop clock? He says, yes, a stop clock is right at least twice a day.
Janney an opportunity to get the Bruins going there, and Billy Radford comes up with another big save for the Edmonton Oilers. Borg slaps it in. Gregg got the puck as far as the line, and that's where Wesley stopped it. Gregg again. Wesley once more stopped it. Janney working it around and threw it up near the net. Buddy tried to flip it out and hit Carpenter's stick. Now Janney once more. He's in there, but by Tikkanen trying to get loose. Tikkanen looking for Janney. Can't find him. Neely goes into the corner. Gregg hits him. Borg comes in to help out. He's in front of the net. It bounced over Borg's stick. Anderson races in for Edmonton. Anderson made a big play. He scores! Anderson on a big play, scoring, and the Oilers get the first one, lead 1-0.
Well, of all the scoring opportunities we've seen tonight by either team, that rush by Anderson couldn't be classed as a good one. It was a 1-on-2. And Don Sweeney is the defenseman on the side of the rink that Anderson goes to and plays the puck right there and gets burned, although where did Raymond Bourque go? And Don Sweeney's had an atrocious series defensively with a -10, now a -11. But Anderson, like 2 or 3 of his teammates, can beat you in a non-goal scoring opportunity.
Unassisted goal by Anderson, his 10th of the playoff. 1:17 of the second period. And the Oilers get the all-important first goal in this game. Mark Lamb in his own zone, put it by Peterson, and down the ice. Burridge. Bumped by Lamb. Curry is coming in there now. Centered it, and Lamb fanned on it in front of the net. Curry made another big play, and Lamb just missed, scoring for Edmonton. Harry Galley with Burridge. And now get it out again. Up near center, Curry is reaching for it. Simpson has to come back. The Bruins are making changes. Here's Curry to Lamb. Lamb bumped by Johnson. Borg passes one back to Hoggood. He shoots it out over the line, and Lowe dumps it back in. Hoggood stopped it for Borg. Oilers are changing. Pass goes up there, and Carter goes in. Smith beat him to it. Steve Smith played it out. Graves with Murphy and Jelena on the ice. And here now is Murphy. Murphy takes a shot, and Jelena is in there. He circles and fired a backhander wide. Graves shoots one right to Moog. Moog drops it to Hoggood. Hoggood gets the puck ahead to Johnston. And Murphy again. The pass intercepted by Carter with Hoggood. Hoggood's rink line pass hitting Christian. And the Oilers get it up to Murphy again. Hoggood couldn't shoot it in. Here comes Murphy as Jelena over in front. He's in. Jelena couldn't get the pass because Bork fell in front of the pass. And that stops the play. We'll be right back after this message.
What a superior goal Glenn Anderson scored. You know, doing easily what others find difficult is talent. Doing what seems impossible for talent is genius. Watch this genius right here put his team ahead with a great one-on-two move. When Sweeney looks at this one, it's going to spoil his summer and make Anderson's.
First goal of the game. And in this kind of series, brother, that's a big goal for Glenn Anderson and the Edmonton Oilers.
Well, the team that scored first always got the second, and the team that scored got the 2-0 lead have won all 4 games.
McTavish squaring off with Carpenter, and he won it for Gregg. Slapped it. Had to put it by Janney, so he missed the net. Galley hit Janney. Janney to Carpenter. Carpenter and Neely go up over the line. The backhander, a high one, knocked down off the shoulder of Ranford. Charlie Huddy fighting off a check and gets it out of the zone. Wesley watching McTavish. And now here's Janney. The pass failed to get to Carpenter, who was alone in front of the net. Carpenter tipped it away, and Huddy takes over. Huddy and Gregg back there for Edmonton. Bookberger's pass. Little too far for Tikkanen, and Galley is back. Here comes McTavish. He couldn't find it. Neely turning back for Boston. Neely had to move back to get away from Tikkanen. Shot down the ice. This is going to be icing against the Boston Bruins as Kevin Lowe goes in to pick it up. They played 4:14 of the second.
Esa Tikkanen has now drawn the assignment of playing as many shifts as he can against Craig Janney. We didn't see that matchup, at least we didn't see it very often in the first period when the score was 0-0. But when Muckler's team gets ahead in this rink, Tikkanen gets the assignment. Craig Janney, Tikkanen's on a 3-game scoring streak. He's 5th in the National League in points, and he's the best defensive center. Here he is shadowing Janney. Watch this now. Janney hasn't got the puck, and if you don't think it doesn't bother you to have a guy doing that to you when you don't have the puck, then you haven't played against a guy like that.
1:17. Anderson scored here in the second period. Give Edmonton a 1-0 lead in Burridge. For Boston, Christian picks it up. Put it in back of the net. Lowe saw him come in there. Christian stopped the pass. Oilers get out anyway. Messier's on the move. He's coming up with Simpson. Messier turning back for Bob Sweeney. Now he tried to hook a pass in there, but Burridge is on the puck. Burridge up across center, and that's offside. Onto the stick of Christian. 2-line pass. They'll bring it inside the Boston line.
Randy Burridge, who's had trouble scoring goals in these playoffs with only 4 in 20 games. He, guys like Christian, Carter, Sweeney, they got to score some goals. They've all worked hard, and they've all done a good job defensively. And Randy Burridge has only 38 shots in 20 playoff games, and he's got a good shot. doesn't seem to get it away often enough. Mike Milbury found it tough to swallow. Then on a non-dangerous rush, the Oilers go ahead in this critical game for the Bruins.
Anderson now has 20 points in the playoffs. 21 games. Working on another one here tonight. Scoring at 1:17 of the second period. That was an unassisted goal. Bourne tried to thread it through for Carpenter. Got right into Ranford. Low back of the net. Put a soft pass ahead, and Messier is coming up there undone. Sweeney got a piece of Messier. Janney kicked one across center to Neely. Neely's shot. Ranford outcutting the angle, made the save. Smith hooked it ahead. Messier has to chase it. It's slapped out over the line by Peterson. Latsalainen. He saw Messier trapped in there, so he circled back. Hangs onto it. Played it back for Tikkanen. Up through the middle. And Andy Moog steps out of the net, giving it to Hawgood. Neely on the right wing. Pass through center, down the ice. No icing. Waved off. Tikkanen left it for Smith, who gave it back to him, and it's Land having to circle back. Nice play up for Tikkanen. He put it into the zone, right on the net. Goes off now. And Hawgood for Boston. Peterson to Hawgood. Hawgood's pass. Curry got in front of that. Now Prop shoots it in. Radford out. Gould was coming hard. It's centered and gets by everyone down the ice. Galley is back. Lamb going off as the Oilers were changing. Wesley up to Prop. Gould shoots it in for Boston, and Honey watching Byers come after him. Oilers get it out again. Up to the line at center. The pass into Curry. Gary Curry hangs on. Centered it. Simpson is tied up in front of the net by Wesley. Gregg can't keep it in against Prop. Simpson now has to clear the zone with Galley coming back. The Oilers are changing as Wesley takes it for Boston. Pass ahead off the stick of Johnston. He was offside. And the play is stopped nearing the 8-minute mark of the second. 1-0 Edmonton.
This is the kind of information Coach Mike Milbury does not want his Boston Bruin players to read. Not very often when you get in the hole that the Bruins are in do you come back to sip out of the cup.
Especially when they're squaring off with a team like the Edmonton Oilers. They've won 4 cups, but I don't think I've seen the Oilers as hungry for a Stanley Cup. Maybe, but not quite as hungry as some of the players on this team this time around. They have a lot to prove, and so does this gentleman, John Muckler.
Well, you know, the Oilers have been expected to win cups. Some of those, at least I would say 3 of the 4, and maybe even the 4th as they lost in the finals before they won it. But I don't think anybody expected them to win this one, and this will be a sweet one for the fellows who have been here a while. And of course, for the newcomers, what better night than the night that you cradled the Stanley Cup for a while skating around the rink.
However, we're only in the second period of this hockey game, and it's been a tremendous pace to it ever since the opening face-off. And these Bruins, of course, want to keep it going and get back to Edmonton. 1-0 is the score on the Anderson goal, unassisted. 1:17 of this period. It was a beautiful play by Anderson.
Well, Milbury has to talk his team into trying and convince them that the score isn't going to end 1-0. I mean, they have to look at it that way. They played well enough to get the first goal, but they didn't get it. And that's a tough thing to convince your players of when they've had such a time scoring on Bill Ranford, who is dancing ever so quickly to winning the Conn Smythe Trophy, I would think.
Face off in the center ice area. Carpenter and McTavish. Bookberger and Klima on the wings for Edmonton. Janney, Neely, and Carpenter move up. Here's Bourne. Don Sweeney winds up for a shot. was ready for it anyway. McTavish trying to get it out. Can't do it. Janney kept it in. Bork turning around at the blue line. Now to Janney. Janney centers one. That's off his stick. Neely back of the goal. No room for him to move. And McTavish just puts it by Bork to center ice. Don Sweeney rips it back in. Janney is in first. Carpenter moving for the net. The shot a high one, and Ranford again covers the angle. Out for McTavish, upended near center. Buchberger running into Bork. Oilers make changes as Carpenter takes the pass. Slides it up to Janney. He is stopped. Carpenter again shoots it in. Two Bruins were trapped inside the line. They have to clear the zone, allowing the Oilers to come out. Messier, full steam up, coming in. Here's Simpson and Smith at the blue line, kept it in. Messier missed it. It'll be Anderson along the boards, overskating it. Burridge out for Boston. Pass to Bob Sweeney. He goes in with Burridge, and they're offside at the Oilers' blue line with 8 minutes, 52 seconds gone.
Well, here we're going to show you a good shot of the kind of hits you take after you've passed or shot the puck. Buchberger trying to get Sweeney to change on the fly. Peter Klima, who's been complaining about his ice time to his teammates, and one of them said, "Peter, you're a spacey guy, and when expansion gets a team on the moon, you'll be the captain."
Oilers tip the puck out and down the ice. Wesley put it in high. It bounced down to Ruotsalainen. And Simpson just slapped it to center. Wesley drives it back in for Boston. Steve Smith, Burridge chasing him. Smith gets the puck loose for Messier. He can't roll it very far. He got it as far as the line. Sweeney, the shot blocked by Anderson. He's going to break away. Wesley coming back. Anderson in, set it up. Simpson right in. He scores! Simpson scoring for Edmonton on a great play by Anderson.
Well, Anderson faked the shot and then passed it behind his back to Simpson, who he knew was barreling late on the play. And of course, if you play with a guy like Simpson or Curry or Anderson, it's never too late to get into the play. And I'll tell you, Simpson came from a long way back. He got this goal when he made the decision to go away behind Anderson to the net. And watch the move he makes on Andy Moog. Very similar to the one Anderson made on Moog when he got in alone on him in Game 4. And then, of course, he's fired into the net. But it never fails. It doesn't hurt nearly as much when you're cranked after you score a goal as it does when you're cranked if you don't score a goal.
Wesley did everything he could to prevent that scoring play. But a great burst of speed by Simpson gets his 16th of the playoffs. 9:31 the time of the goal, and it's 2-0 Edmonton. Now Graves gets a shot on Moog, who makes the save. The Bruins in a hole now. Play it up over the Edmonton line, and back there is Murphy turning. He's with Jelena and coming in. Murphy to Jelena. Jelena is tied up, can't shoot it. He left it at the blue line. And now Graves comes in. Here is Jelena. Jelena spinning away from Hawgood. Hawgood put the grab on him. And now Jelena again finds it. Knocked down by Hawgood. Gets back up and keeps the puck inside the line. Murphy in, sidestepping Peterson. Here's Graves. He's out front of the net. Jelena's knocked down in the goal crease. Weiss moving in there. He drops it. Johnston shot. That went off his stick and just missed. 2-0 Oilers. 9:20 left in the second period. Here is Neely and Bork. Bork's shot blocked by Ranford. Bork keeps the puck in there. Now they hold it against the boards. It comes to Carpenter. His shot missed the net. Wesley. Bork. That's tipped by Neely and he missed. And the Oilers shoot it down the ice and it's right on the net. Bruins trying hard to get back in it. Janney to Neely, broken up by Curry. Curry. Curry tied up by Neely. Grabs the puck and he's hit by Tikkanen, allowing Curry to sweep in with Lamb. His shot off a stick. Ford blocked it. Carpenter for Boston, and Neely to Janney. Back to Bort, to Neely. Neely tied up. And the Oilers just keep getting back there and playing well inside their own blue line. They're checking very closely now with a 2-0 lead. And past the 10-minute mark of the second period. So they feel they have their job half done. Peterson shoots it in. And the play is stopped on the offside. 7:58 remaining in the second period. Peter Pocklington and company feeling a little better about things. Bob Cole with Harry Neal in the broadcast booth. Ron McLean, Don Cherry, and Chris Cuthbert, and this is Craig Simpson, who has just scored his 16th goal of the playoffs to give Edmonton a 2-0 lead. Anderson unassisted at 1:17. Simpson's goal was at 9:31. Oilers in again. Shot off the side of the net. Klima ripped that one. McTavish got in front and was covered. Oilers standing up tight at center ice was Muni. Breaking off a Bruins rush. Rob takes it. Pass through center. Hoggood is jumping on it quickly with Gould. Hoggood in there. The shot hit Gould and it was whistled dead. At the blue line, they were offside. And the play was called back.
Nobody in this building feels this playoff slipping through their fingers more than Mike Milbury. And what can you do about it? It's a terrible feeling, Bob.
Edmonton Oilers have that good feeling now. They're up 2-0 with 7:20 remaining in the second period. The Bruins know it. They have to get something going before too long. And to do that, they also know they have to open up. And if they do that, they know what can possibly happen because of the speed of this Edmonton squad. It's flipped across center. Tikkanen got it to Messier. Messier didn't clear it. Janney there, and he was hit hard. Neely got in there and just about got a shot away. He did not get all of it, and Ranford covered on it.
Now Janney's got the bullseye on. He's playing with a little more intensity tonight, but he's getting all kinds of attention from this guy. And Craig Janney with Tikkanen out there doing this all the time to him, he must feel like he's playing this game in a phone booth. No room at all. He's complaining to Andy Van Hellemond about it. And you can see what's happened to Craig Janney since he was introduced to Esa Tikkanen.
6 minutes and 45 seconds left in the second period. Edmonton with a 2-0 lead in this hockey game, leading in the series 3-1. They'd love to finish it off tonight for their 5th Stanley Cup. The Bruins fans try to get the team going with a face-off in the Edmonton zone to the left of Ranford. Gregg to Curry. All good pinching in. Curry with the puck to Tikkanen. Trying to slip it out. Lamb is up behind everybody and gets the pass. Lamb coming in. Vogt stopped him. Lamb had a great chance to blow it open. Neely in for Boston. Nice save by Ranford. Neely with a bid and Ranford with another great save. In front of the net, Hoggood saw the puck knocked away from him. Tikkanen put it in back of the goal. Honey being watched by Janney. Bork trying to keep it in, does. Neely to Carpenter. Carpenter's pass. Hoggood screen shot. It was blocked by Gregg. Gregg slapped at it. Oilers dump it out and down the ice. Tikkanen relieving the pressure. And Bork back. Icing called against the Oilers with 5 minutes and 49 seconds remaining in the second.
Mark Lamb is tied for 4th in the playoffs in the plus-minus department. He does a lot of the spade work for Tikkanen and Curry. They like to play with him. Here he gets a chance to score, but you see how the puck rolled on him? And he had to look down and recover the puck. And that took away the concentration. Cam Neely has absolutely been stoned by Bill Ranford, and there's an example right there of what's happened about 8 times in this round. Neely on Ranford, but couldn't beat him.
Anderson, who has scored one of the goals, now sets up Kevin Lowe and Messier. Messier driving in there with a pass. Lowe kept it in back of the net. Now Anderson again. Slipped it over on the far side for McTavish. Messier whipping it around. Bruins get it out. Lowe from center. Lifts one into the corner. Galley sees Simpson coming in and pulled up a bit. Christian lost it. Here's Kevin Lowe. He gave it to Anderson behind the net. Simpson tried to center it. Anderson, difficulty in the corner, finding it. Now it's centered. Simpson shot. And he missed. Don Sweeney can't get the puck out on the first try. Does on the second attempt. Weiss is in front of the net. And he just missed it. Messier back up for Edmonton. Simpson with him. Messier stopped by Carter. Allgood coming out. Up over the Edmonton blue line and going around Smith. Now Smith catches up to him. Keeps him in there. The play is stopped with a collision in front of the net. Simpson went flying and he was trying to get back.
He was back checking on the Bruin forward and fell off him right at the net and slid in. I don't know whether he hit the post or very hard or not, but he looks like he's complaining about something to the trainer. Well, you're looking at the leading goal scorer in the playoffs in 1990, Craig Simpson, who seems to have recovered from a slide of death into the net.
4 minutes and 37 seconds remaining in the second period here in Boston. The Oilers leading in a hockey game 2-0. Anderson and Simpson have scored the goals. Allgood in for Boston. Bob Sweeney in front of the net was covered. And up for Jelena. Jelena moving up and Johnston. Stick handles away from him. Centered it. But Burridge picks it up. Out with Bob Sweeney. Burridge along the boards is choked off. It's centered all the way back. And the Oilers are swinging in again. Jelena coming in with Graves. He's in there. Oh, he had a great chance to shoot it on the short side, but elected to pass it off. Jelena with a great opportunity to get his first goal and the third of the night for Edmonton, but he elected to make the pass.
You know, sometimes when you get a 3-on-1 for as long as Jelena and his line mates had it, you have too many options running through your mind. Jelena was going to shoot it, then he was going to pass it, then he was going to shoot it, and then he decided to pass it, and the 3-on-1 turned into a 3 on everybody. There's where he was going to shoot it. Here's where he's going to pass it. Here's where he's going to shoot it. Now he's going to pass it. And of course, someone else always gets back into the play, and a very dangerous rush. Now watch the collision of the Bruin players, and this is why it was a 3-on-1. Johnson and Peterson are down in the neutral zone, and from the red line in, it was a 3-on-1 that wasn't converted into a goal. 2 years from now, that line would have had it in back at center ice for the faceoff.
Lamb, Curry, Tikkanen for Edmonton. Bob Sweeney with Burridge and Johnston for Boston. Huddy shoots it off the boards, put it in there. Curry on it quickly to Lamb. Bork stopped him. Curry tripped up inside the blue line, and the Bruins get it out. Huddy will slap it back in. Bork and Wesley. Pass to Burridge. Coming down with Johnston. Burridge looking around, and he took too much time and got hit. Now Gregg. And Curry slapped it to the line. Wesley stopped it there. Johnson lost the puck against Gregg. Mark Lamb moving up for Edmonton. Curry joining him on the rush. And Bork takes Lamb in on the boards. Bob Sweeney out for the Bruins. A pass will go down the ice right to the net. So Lowe fired it back to the Boston line. Bruins shoot it in. Again, icing has been waved off. 3 minutes left in the period. 2-0 Edmonton. Tikkanen slow and clearing it out. Now it's fired off the glass and down to the Boston line. Don Sweeney shoots it from center ice. All the Oilers are back there covering, and the Bruins are forced out again. Galley slipped away from Messier. Stopped, though, at the blue line. Had to recover quickly with Tikkanen almost breaking away. Here's Carpenter coming in. To Janney, to Galley, shoots! And Ranford got his arm up. It's centered again. 3 Bruins there. Janney shot gloved by Ranford. Janney throws his stick away in disgust. What do I have to do to score on this guy? Ranford coming up with another big save.
That sounds like a recording, Bob.
I'm
Ranford
sorry.
with another big save. And there was a crowd around him on that one. His poise in this playoff has been only excelled by his goals against average. And here he's going to give you an example of it right here. Bouncing pucks, all kinds of traffic. And he catches it as if to say, that's enough, boys. We need a face-off. This is a big production of Stanley Cup playoffs. There are 4 television feeds going out of here. So on Causeway Street in front of the Boston Garden, they have to block the street. There's the French, taking it to the French-Canadian population. You're coming along now. There's Mr. Cole and myself for the English Canada. And now as we get closer to center and going on the other side, there's Nesson, Derek Sanderson, Freddie Cusack. And then finally we get down here to Sports Channel, Jeeks McDonald and Bill Clement.
And 2 minutes and 10 seconds left in the second period. So they're all here in Boston covering the Stanley Cup final. With 2 minutes left in the second, and Edmonton up 2-0. Time running out on the Boston Bruins. Carpenter trying to get something going with the help of Bork, and Bork has to just slip it in. Oilers are all coming back. This is Smith back of the net. Ruotsalainen in the corner and skating with it, and he can do that as well as anybody. Ruotsalainen lifts it off to the corner. It gets in behind the goal, and Moog shoveled one ahead to Hoggood. Oilers were changing. Bruins get it to center. In goes Bice, dropped it. Christian tried to go in, and 2 Oilers fell. Bruins are on it. Bice's shot off his skate. And the Oilers, Yari Curry. He tripped up trying to skate toward the line. Edmonton shooting it down the ice anyway. And the Bruins have to come back. Prop checked his man from center, Gregg. 1 minute left in the second period. Simpson is in there. Sidestepping Peterson. Hoggood on the puck. He's bumped. And they're going to get a whistle, I do believe. And the face-off is going to be outside the Boston line for our second intermission information. Again, we go to the man who knows, Ron McLean.
Bob, it'll be a conversation with John Carter of the Bruins and high anxiety in central Alberta as we look at the moms and dads of Bill Ranford and Glenn Wesley.
.49 seconds left in the second period in this face-off. As you see, they're lining up just outside the Boston line. The shots are 19-15 in favor of the Bruins. So Mrs. Ranford, young Billy, is doing it again. What a playoff. You can write his name on the Conn Smythe Trophy any minute.
They'll have to let a lot in the third period to lose it.
Wesley back. Puts it off to center ice. Anderson, who opened the scoring here in the second period. At 1:17 on a picture play. And then set up Simpson at 9:31. Anderson is going to do something else, maybe. Here he is, into the corner with 10 seconds left, and Wesley poked it off his stick. 5 seconds left in the period. Bork will shoot it. Here it is. Billy Ranford kicked it out. Siren goes to win the second period.
Well, the Boston Bruins and the Edmonton Oilers played a very even first period. In the second period, Glenn Anderson struck and got the opening goal and then made the play on the second goal. And you know, the Edmonton Oilers, over the years in playoff games in which they can eliminate their opponent, Their record is 24-2. As Kevin Lowe put it, over the years in games like these, we show we have that killer instinct.
Glenn Anderson opened the scoring at 1:17 of the period. An unassisted goal. It was a beauty. And then Simpson was set up by another dandy play by Anderson at 9:31 for the second goal. The shots over 2 periods, 20 by the Bruins, 15 by Edmonton. I invite you to stay tuned for the CBC National News coming up. Score at the end of the second period. Edmonton 2, Boston no score.
Now back to Ron McLean at Hockey Night in Canada.
Nightfall in Boston. Bruins hope it isn't symbolic. It's 2-0 Edmonton at the end of 2 periods of play. Here's John Carter of the Boston Bruins. What's going on, John?
Well, it seems like every time we seem to make a mistake, they're very good, they capitalize on all their opportunities, and, the puck's just not bouncing in for us.
You must be extremely frustrated in the dressing room. Is that going on?
Yeah, a little bit. We're a little disappointed we're not getting in front of Bill Ranford more, and they're blocking a lot of shots, and our forwards aren't getting to the net enough, and we're not shooting enough at times, and it seems like every time we make a mistake, they seem to capitalize.
Tell me about the defense, and first of all about Edmonton's. Who's the best pair in your opinion? Who are you having trouble with?
I think Kevin Lowe's a great player. We got a lot of respect for him, and Greg, he's a steady horse behind there, and they're doing a great job keeping our forwards from getting to the net. Billy Ranford's seeing most of the shots, and like I say, we're just not capitalizing enough on our opportunities.
A subject that hasn't come up often in these playoffs because it wasn't necessary against Montreal and again against Washington, but behind Ray Bourque, 2 fine defensemen aren't here in this series and haven't been all the way along. How much do you miss Kluzak and Telman?
Oh, they're 2 steady horses for us. A couple of years ago, they were key factors to the team. The year we went to the finals, and they're sorely missed. But you can't cry over water under the bridge. So we haven't had them, and our defensemen that we had all year, did a great job, and we had a great year, and we're in the finals.
You are for the first time. You were under contract in '88. How has it been?
Oh, it's been fantastic. It's a thrill for me growing up in the Boston area and having season tickets, watching the Bruins in the early 70s, and to be a part of this, it's a great thrill for me.
And for us to watch you, all the best.
All right, thank you very much.
John Carter of the Boston Bruins, down by 2 at the end of 40 minutes of play. Coming up next, we'll move from near John's hometown to mine, Red Deer, and a great rivalry when Molson Hockey Night in Canada on CBC returns in a moment. Tom's not smiling right now. Well, it'll be nerves in both the Ranford and Wesley households this evening. We have a special look at what it's like to watch your heroes in action tonight on the Stanley Cup Journal.
Up over the line, breaking for the net, ready to go. Stopped by Ranford. Another great save by Bill Ranford.
Oh my God!
What?
What a save!
Wesley looks back. Wesley giving a bump.
Billy Cobb.
So you think it's stressful being a professional hockey player? Well, imagine being professional hockey parents, like Bill and Calla Ranford of Red Deer, Alberta.
Who was it?
No, Curry. Easy, Mom.
I even compare it to scared, like being scared.
She can't eat before the game.
No, that's why. Like I can't see how you guys are eating this stuff.
He has done everything.
We're up a couple of goals. I'll relax. One doesn't make it. Maybe the same as none.
He'll maybe go to the washroom if he really has to.
Back to the line, Wesley shot.
Across town, the Wesley household can relate. Son Glenn plays defense for the Boston Bruins.
You're caught up in all the excitement of the fans, and when you see the action, and you just want to move for them.
You're always afraid of making that mistake, but he doesn't too often make many.
Glenn Wesley was destined for the NHL. He was drafted by the Boston Bruins when he was only 18 years old. This is his second Stanley Cup appearance.
Number 26, Glenn Wesley. Number 30, Bill Ranford.
Billy Ranford's played the game since he was old enough to pick up a hockey stick, and his parents have been with him all the way.
After 20 years of me hollering at him.
On your feet, boy. Isn't that what you used to holler? And he said he could even hear him or think he could hear him.
Since then, there have been 1,000 anxious moments and a lot of pride.
I'm so happy for him, and believe it or not, for his mother, because she's pretty thrilled about him playing, and that's great.
Professional hockey parents know it doesn't get any better than the Stanley Cup final.
A special thank you to Linda Steele of CBXT in Edmonton for preparing that report. Bill Jr. wanted his dad to come down to Boston, but Mr. Ranford's a nervous flyer, and Mr. Ranford, you're not much better watching TV. You're going to put on weight putting on the Ritz, if you know what I mean. And good luck in the third period tonight. It's Edmonton 2, Boston no score at the end of 2 periods of play here at the Garden. Game 5 of the Stanley Cup Finals. We'll return to Boston in a moment. Game 6 of this series, if required, will be Saturday at Northlands Coliseum in Edmonton. The Bruins and Oilers would begin at 8 o'clock Eastern, 6 local time. Coming up next, the great Gordie Howe is with Chris Cuthbert when the 1990 Stanley Cup playoffs continue in a moment.
Welcome back to the Boston Garden. The two teams on the ice for the third period, and the Oilers 20 minutes away from their 5th Stanley Cup. Gordie Howe has won 4 Stanley Cups, and you must know the feeling that the Oilers right now have on the verge.
Well, you just heard that when they're on the way out the ice. Each individual is given an assignment, say, make the line, keep the line going. They themselves know that 20 minutes, and if you break it down, other than Messier and Anderson, some of the guys are only playing 5 minutes, so surely they got to have that much energy.
It's interesting, they all talk about the Stanley Cup rings. You won 4 cups, no rings.
No rings, and young Richard won 11. He's only got 10 fingers. But no, the ring I'm wearing right now with great pride, it's a Stanley Cup ring, but that was presented to me from my old coach, Tommy Ivan, and it was through an article that was written, plus the fact that Mark wanted to win a cup and get me a ring. So Tommy Ivan called the house and said, what size does the man wear? And that's why I wear with pride. It's more than a Stanley Cup ring. It's a friendship ring.
You were at the Northlands Coliseum on October the 15th when Wayne Gretzky surpassed you on the all-time scoring list. Did you think the Oilers were a team that was going on to a Stanley Cup?
Well, they hadn't gotten together yet, and which is obvious. That's why Boston had a winning season over them. But what I think really happened is they finally gelled. Some of the new kids got involved with the veterans, and they got good veterans out there, guys who can lead in a clean leadership way, which obviously must take effect because the kid line out there looks great.
Gordie, always a pleasure. We're going back upstairs for the third period, and Bob and Harry.
Thank you, Chris. And doesn't Gordie look just super? Almost suit up and go at it again. Great to have the great veteran Gordie Howe along with us tonight. Face-off coming up inside the Boston line as the players jam the puck in on the boards.
What a great feature on the parents of Glenn Wesley and Bill Ranford. You know, if you go to a hockey game and you want to know how a player played in a game that is attended by his parents, you should always ask his mother. His father, Bob, watches the whole game. His mother never takes her eyes off her son.
Face-off. Oilers dumping it in. They'll try to check the Bruins even more closely in this third period. Leading 2-0. Goals by Anderson and Simpson. Period number 2. Messier all the way back deep in his own zone before dumping it down the ice. Moog out to Bork. Bork nearly got caught by Messier. Bruins get as far as center, and that's that story as Muni chopped it in. Oilers change. Bruins, Carter. Back to Bork, and up to Christian. In with a shot. Ranford stick save. On that short side, Steve Smith couldn't move it out. He was stopped by Carter and Prop. Prop in front of the goal. Here's Christian getting out front, and nobody could get a shot as the Oilers quickly got in there to help Bill Ranford. All good, back deep in his own zone. Jelena makes one sweep in front of him. And now the pass chopped to center. Carter moving up. Carter has had good shot, and he missed on the short side. He put it by Smith. Carter again. Slapped it over for Hawgood. He backhands it toward the net. Watsalainen couldn't clear it. Bruins make changes. That's Carpenter on the boards, and the Oilers dump it out down the ice. This is going to be an icing call with Don Sweeney back. 2 minutes. Please open tonight's edition of Game Time. If you're holding the
Well, there are the big trophies. The one on the right, the Stanley Cup, and the one on the left, the Conn Smythe Trophy. And probably take a pretty good guess as to who's going to carry those home.
Can you hear me?
Bill Ranford is the odds-on favorite for the Conn Smythe, and the Oilers obviously are the odds-on favorite now for the Stanley Cup.
Into center ice, Tikkanen trying to pick one up to go in and can't quite do it. Offside called at the Boston line.
Well, Esa Tikkanen will get some votes for the Conn Smythe Trophy. The way he's handled those top-notch centers in all of the last 3 rounds, including this one, and has been one of the more consistently productive offensive players. Mike Milbury, I'm sure, is very proud of his Boston Bruins, and they all know this. If they can get 1 goal, the adrenaline pump will start again, and they have come from behind 2-0 many times before this season, not often against the Oilers. It's not over, but the book she's closing quickly.
Nearing the 3-minute mark of the 3rd period. Edmonton 2, Boston no score. Bice for the Bruins, and his stick is lifted. Good checking by Graves to come back and make sure that Bice was tied up before he could shoot it.
I think we're going to hear a little bit from John Bice in the next 2 or 3 years for the Bruins. To step into the Stanley Cup playoffs and start your NHL career is a very tall order, especially coming from college where you play 40, 45 games a year. This kid played 4 years of college hockey with the University of Wisconsin, and I'm sure he's finding out the intensity level, the size of the players, the speed of the game, and the talent of the players is quite a bit different.
Carpenter, Janney and Neely, Don Sweeney and Galley, the 5 on there for Boston now. Huddy and Gregg are the Edmonton defensemen. Graves, Murphy, and Jelena up front. Jelena was checking on Carpenter. Neely can't pick up the pass. Ranford leaves it for Huddy. Huddy slipped it ahead along the boards, and a 2-on-1 for Edmonton. Tikkanen coming in with Gregg, shoots, and he missed on the short side. Bruins back in on it. 3 of them. Neely gets in. Neely drives in back of the goal. Now he's out front, and he's off on a sharp angle. He's still working hard to get a shot. Can't do it. And the Oilers' Murphy got his stick on it, and out it goes. 3.5 minutes gone in the 3rd period. The Bruins come in again. Galley and Muni took him in on the boards. Anderson is back there for Edmonton with Messier against Janney. Anderson can't get it out over the line. Chance for Byers. He couldn't slip a pass by Kevin Lowe. Byers again. Side of the net. Don Sweeney. Oh, and he missed Galley with the pass. And it goes all the way down the ice. Bice put that pass back from the line, and Don Sweeney starts to play out. Gets it up as far as center ice. There's Bice again. But now, Messier just rolled one in to the right of Andy Moog. Bruins, Byers, and Don Sweeney, and Byers takes the pass, in with a shot, rebound, and the Oilers are there to clear it again. Ranford, the stick save. Curry comes across center. He stick handles in. Decides he'd better shoot it up behind the net as Wesley was closing in on him. Puck is booted away by Curry. Land stopped by Bork. Christian for Boston shoots it in. Greg back. He and Carter going to the boards heavily. Bruins come in after it, but it's Curry there. And he banked it perfectly off the boards. No icing. Right into Andy Moog. Christian takes it. A pass to center ice. Prop up with a shot. Deflected into the crowd. 5 minutes and 1 second have been played in period number 3.
Well, you can see what the Edmonton Oilers did in the 80s, and what a lovely way to start the 90s. They're only 14 minutes and 59 seconds away from adding to that impressive mark.
Christian Carter in prompt for Boston. Bruins come in after it. Bork gets a shot away. Kick a rebound. Bradford, a sensational save. Bradford made a big save on the shot from Bork. And the rebound was there. And my goodness, he was over so quickly to stop that. What a series this young man is having. Billy Ranford in goal for the Edmonton Oilers.
Well, very rarely has he had to stop a rebound. But watch this one. As Brian Propp backhands it while it's rolling, and Ranford somehow, in a desperation slide, goes to his right and makes the save. Here's the initial shot. A bit of a bad rebound by Billy. He makes up for it. I think it may have hit him right in the mask and then fell into his feet. The Boston Bruins will not get a better chance than that as Bill Ranford continues to spin his magic toward the Conn Smythe Trophy for the most valuable player in the playoffs. He's got my vote, Bob, and I'm sure you're thinking seriously of the same thing.
He had mine before this game started. Wesley shot and Ranford gloved it again. Can't say enough about the goaltending in the Stanley Cup final, especially the goaltending of a guy who is playing in his first Stanley Cup final, Bill Ranford.
I'm sure Bill Ranford would tell you that that shot was a typical shot by the Boston Bruins. A point shot with Kevin Lowe and Craig Muni knocking the Boston forwards out of the way so Bill could see the whole shot. And that big Oiler defense, we talked about them in the opening of the first game, has been one of the major differences in these two teams. And Ranford has been terrific, but I think he's going to buy a cold Molson's for his defense corps sometime this evening.
Frank McTavish for Edmonton. And he's been sharp winning faceoffs, especially in his own zone. He did it again right there. Bork knocked one down at the blue line. Pass comes in front. Oilers are there covering. And Lamb gives it to McTavish up with Muni, the defenseman. Here's Muni. A high shot gloved by Andy Moog. And Moog decides to hold it with McTavish right in front of him along with Mark Lamb.
Well, Mike Milbury has really not enjoyed the second period here in the finals. The Boston Bruins, you can see, have managed only 1 goal in the second period of all these games, and the Oilers 9. The other periods are pretty even. But ever since they invented 3 periods, teams that don't play them often lose. He's trying to stir him up. 1 shot away from getting right back into it.
Wesley and Bork. There's Lamb forechecking. Bork given very little room to start a play. Carpenter moved up over the line with Neely, dropped it back. Janney with a shot. That's blocked. Curry made sure Lamb had a chance to clear it out, and he did that. To Lowe, to Curry. There's Lowe going for the net, and the pass was tipped by Bork just in time. Bork, long pass intended for Neely, but it was down the ice, and icing is called. Against Boston, they played 6 minutes and 5 seconds of the third period, and Edmonton continues to lead 2-0.
Well, Raymond Bork, the theory on forechecking Bork that the Oilers are using is that if you can make him pass the puck, we're probably better off with anybody else carrying it coming out of the Bruins zone. And then, if you've made him pass it, you don't let him back into the play. Get in front of him, back check on him like a forward. And Raymond Bork, who's got great offensive stats, hasn't had much in the way of good opportunities as a late rusher.
Steve Smith shot scores! Steve Smith from the blue line, let the shot go, and Moog didn't have a chance to move. I don't think he saw it at all. It tipped something in front of the net and went up high. And the Edmonton Oilers take a commanding 3-0 lead here in the third period.
Well, there's no question about the fact that it hit somebody. I don't know whether it was a Boston player or an Oiler player, but it hit and went right up off the post and in as Andy Moog was playing a lower shot. No chance did Moog have on that one.
The time of the goal was 6:09, and we'll get the official in a moment. But here's Messier. He's driving for the net now. He's going around the goal. He was forced back there. Got a pass in front. Another hard shot that Moog didn't see. Hit Simpson's stick in front of the net and bounced high. Steve Smith given credit for the goal. And Messier gets his 200th point in the playoffs, setting it up. And the time was 6:09. It's now 3-0, and the Oilers can pour it on now as they near the 7-minute mark of the third. Carter backing up in his own zone. Coming out, stick handled around Messier to center ice and coming in. Carter dropped it to Christian, back into Carter. Huddy has him taped in there. Carter knocked down, and Huddy, I think, will get a penalty on the play. Carter was knocked to the ice, and Andy Van Helleman calls a hooking penalty against Huddy. Charlie Huddy off for a hooking. 6:09, Smith scored from Messier and Simpson. A big point for Mark Messier.
200 career playoff points. He's in an elite group. With that number, there's Messier saying, let's drop the puck, let's get going. Does it ever take a long time to play 20 minutes? Here's the goal right here. When at the end of 20 minutes, you win the cup. It went off the Boston Bruin player, number 41, Alan Peterson, and went past Moog.
Anderson and Simpson scored in the second period, and the goal here by Steve Smith in the third period. And it's 3-0 Oilers. Huddy now in the penalty box in the Bruins. If they ever had a power play goal, they better try their darndest now, because there's not much left in this game. The way the Edmonton Oilers are grouped together and working as a team to shut down the Bruins. Penalty killing is another aspect of this great hockey club from Edmonton. They have been superb. Not alone allowing no goals, or hardly any in the playoffs, but against these Bruins, they hardly give up a shot.
1 for 20 opportunities. They've allowed 1 goal in 20 Boston power plays.
That's Curry. Curry owns the puck. Slipped it off to the corner. And less than a minute to go in the penalty, 55 seconds. Charlie Huddy. Janney, his pass, a good shot, blocked by Messier. Curry there. Messier tipped it to the line, but not out. Bork moving up, no room. Here's Janney. Janney moved out front in the slot. Janney again fake. Now he shoots. Stop. Rebound. Stop. And Ranford comes diving out to grab it with 2 Oilers there helping him. And Hoggood is disgusted the way things are going with Boston now, and fires his stick away into the corner.
Ranford made about 3 stops, and then Kevin Lowe fell on the puck. And the frustration level of the Boston forwards, who are getting pretty nice chances, can't put it by Ranford, and have a terrible time getting it by the Oilers, who are all falling to the ice to block the shot. 1 shot by Prop, can't put it in, and now it falls under Kevin Lowe, and Ranford freezes it for the whistle. 31 seconds left in the penalty to Charlie Huddy.
Don't you love the way this young man continues to show that he is a stand-up goaltender with those lightning reflexes? He has been on his feet, tough to get him to go down at all. When he does, he usually has the puck smothered. A great lesson in goaltending by Bill Ranford of the Edmonton Oilers in these playoffs. Messier very calmly backhands the puck out of the zone. 24 seconds left in the Edmonton penalty. Charlie Huddy, now 20 seconds as the Bruins try to organize again. Coming out is Hawgood. Picks his way over center, laid it in, and now the Bruins will have to go back with 8 seconds left in the penalty. And Bourque has to hurry to get one more rush. His pass to the far side, bounces in to Bice. Here's Burridge. Redford stuffed that. And the penalty is over. McTavish comes out of his own zone. Up to Graves. Graves goes in on the right side against Hawgood. He stops. The Oilers were making changes. And now Murphy comes up to join in. Murphy slapped at it. He gets the puck loose. Bourque in there, knocked it off his stick. Bourque again has to contend with Murphy back of the goal. Oilers come up with it. Murphy gets it loose from the corner and takes a look in front of the net. He was checked by Christian. Nearing the halfway mark of the period, Christian comes across center, shoots it in. The Bruins are changing as Graves picks it up in his own zone. Now Graves lifts a high one down the ice. At the halfway mark of the third period, it's 3-0 Edmonton. 2 goals in the second, Anderson and Simpson. Smith here in the third. And the Oilers are just trying to run out the clock now they can and check the Bruins. Huddy, and he'll lift one to the line. It doesn't get out. The second one does. Tikkanen takes it to center and shoots it in on the net. Alley, put it by Curry. Here's center ice, Carter. He has to turn back to get away from Lamb. Now Lamb gets it as Curry checked Carter. And Lamb shoots it in. The Oilers change all around. Long pass coming to Bob Sweeney. He doesn't pick it up. Steve Smith shoots it back inside the Boston line. Peterson in there, takes a hit from Anderson. Messier chopped into the far corner. Janney took a swing at it and fell. Watsalainen tried to shoot it from a sharp angle. It comes out over the line. Simpson tried to go in. Hawgood checked him. Now Hawgood and Simpson bump together. Simpson falls. 2 Bruins are with him. Right in front of the net. A good play by Anderson, and he just missed. On the far corner, Anderson going after it again with Simpson. Hawgood intercepted. Put a high one down inside the Edmonton line. They played 11:30 in the third period. 3-0 Oilers. Here's Ray Bourque coming in there. Bourque cut off. It's center. Breakaway. Messier. Bourque chasing him. He didn't know Bourque was coming up. Knocked it down. And there's going to be a penalty on the play to Ray Bourque. A holding penalty to Bourque.
Mark Messier is screaming for a penalty shot, but I don't think he's going to get one.
Mark Messier was on a breakaway. Now he was looking to see if anybody was near him, and he looked to his left. He did not see this man, Ray Bourque, come to his right. And then it was too late to really turn on the Jets.
Is this a race for a goal or a race for the Hart Trophy? You can see why Messier was lobbying for a penalty shot, although the fact that Bourque overtook him and didn't hook him from well behind him is the reason that Mark's not going to get his wish. But that's a wishful pose.
8:14 left in the third period. Ray Bourque in the penalty box, and the Oilers now with an opportunity to really put it away, as if 3 wasn't enough. Power play Edmonton. Tikkanen, Curry, Lamb, Huddy, and Gregg. Pass to Huddy. Through center, Curry. Lost it up the line, and Carpenter hangs onto it. Flipped it up there for Carter, and he's offside. And they'll bring it back inside the Boston line. We have 7 minutes and 46 seconds remaining in the third period.
Well, when you look over your shoulder, you can see the race as far as all-time Stanley Cups are concerned. You and I are going to be long gone by anybody, or before anybody catches Montreal, Bob, but the Edmonton Oilers are stepping right up there and tying Boston and are 2 away from Detroit. But I think it clearly shows how superior the Canadians have been over the years.
Edmonton going to win their 5th Stanley Cup in 7 years, and that ain't bad.
Well, Montreal won 5 in a row, but I don't think that they can say they won 5 in 7. I stand corrected on that, but I don't know.
Stopping it at the line. Watch the line and kept it in there. Tikkanen is moving up. Burridge trying to pick it up, did not. Burridge just waiting for the puck to come loose. Burridge rooting at it. It gets loose, and Curry looks for it now, and it skates. Into the corner it goes. And Moog comes out to steer it in behind the net. 50 seconds left of the penalty to Ray Bourque. Curry back there. Burridge is going off to the Boston bench. Curry allowed to skate to center. The pass into Messier. Messier breaks around Hallgood. He's in around the net now, tried to center it. It hit a skate. Messier again. Checked by Hallgood. 25 seconds left of the penalty. Messier whipped it past to Huddy. His shot blocked by Peterson. Huddy moving up against Neely. He kept it in. And Moog stopped the pass out. Oilers continue to press on this power play. Curry. No shot. He just threw it off to one side. There's Anderson. 5 seconds left of the penalty. And Hallgood will take it as Bourque is on the ice. 3-0 Oilers. Bourque at his own blue line. Lost it. Graves is moving up there. Take the shot. And Moog kicked that out. It gets to Gregg near center ice. Lowe lifted it back inside the Boston line. Ray Bourque hit Hallgood with a pass at the line and as far as center, and he lost it. Graves skating in on Bourque, and Bourque takes over. Twisting away from Murphy. It's a pass to the line and Weiss up to Christian. That's broken up by Graves. Pretty good checking by Adam Graves of the Edmonton Oilers. Lowe stopped Christian. Carter around his own blue line. Moved away from Jelena. Gets in over the Edmonton line, and Jelena tries to break after it. Galley is skating in there with him. Jelena stopped quickly. Looks over in front of the net. Now he makes his play. And here's a chance for Murphy. Shot, score! Murphy got the rebound. And it's 4-0 Edmonton. And they're laughing on the Edmonton bench. Celebrating on the Edmonton bench. With that goal coming at 14:53. Murphy getting his own rebound.
Well, it's nice to see that line that worked so hard and territorially has dominated the Bruins, but in the last game and this one, but couldn't score. And they get this goal. Murphy 1 chance, Murphy 2 chances, and it's in to give the Oilers a 4-0 lead. You know, Bob, I, like many other NHL fans, gave the Oilers no chance to win a 5th Stanley Cup last summer without Wayne Gretzky, and then when you find out Fuhrer wasn't going to be there, I thought it was impossible. I forgot the one thing you should never forget in sport, and that is no one is indispensable. And if by chance you think you're indispensable for your team or for your country, don't. Here's the test. Fill a pail full of water, put your finger in it, pull your finger out. If there's still a hole, you're indispensable.
Only 5 minutes and 7 seconds away from a 5th Stanley Cup for the Edmonton Oilers. And Mike Milbury now talking to his Boston Bruins players. And, well, Harry, you know more about this coaching part of the game. What can he be saying to the Bruins now? They're down 4-0 in a 5th and deciding game in a Stanley Cup final.
Well, he's got that ambivalent feelings here. He's very proud of his team and his players and the way they played for him as a rookie. And he's very disappointed they couldn't go one more round. And John Muckler, who's been around a long time in this game, gets a chance to have his name put on the Stanley Cup as the only head coach this year for the Edmonton Oilers. Green deserves a lot of credit, as does Ron Lowe. the Edmonton scouting staff, and of course their front office staff, and most of all the wives who've had to put up with these people all year. And these playoffs go on forever for them.
The Boston fans standing and applauding the Boston Bruins. They gave them a heck of a season, first overall. But here in the Stanley Cup final, they were head-to-head with a very hungry and disciplined and very talented Edmonton Oilers Hockey Club. With 4.5 minutes left in the third period here in Game 5 at the Boston Garden, the Oilers are up 4-0. So it's let's be careful time from here for the Oilers. And that's just the way they'll play it. Galley in gold. Pass it around. Now Wesley to center and shoots it in. And he goes to the Boston bench. Edmonton now just playing out the clock. A little over 4 minutes remaining. Pass by Galley. Got as far as the line. And there was standing Randy Gregg. Steady defenseman for the Oilers, just stopped it and pounded it in there again. Bookberger checked his man near center. They hold it on the boards. The puck comes loose. Sweeney took a kick at it. Bookberger took a swing at it. It rolls into Bourque. He backs up to Byers. Down the left side, Don Sweeney. Trying to make a play. Gets another chance to do it around the net. Centered it. They score! Byers scores for Boston.
Lyndon Byers gives these Boston Bruin fans one little favor to take home for the summer. A nice play by Don Sweeney to circle the net, and it gets through the Oiler defenseman, and Byers is right there to steer it into the far corner. The score is 4-1, and Lyndon Byers gets his first goal of the playoffs in his first game in the final. Well, we're taking a look at the Oiler dressing room now, and those bottles will last about as long as the Bruins do here with 3 minutes and 25 seconds to go in this game.
Byers gets the goal from Sweeney and Bourque. 16:30 was the time of the goal. The shutout broken for Bill Ranford, just as it was in Edmonton in Game 4. But I'm sure he'll take his performance. Janney's blocked the pass out. Always nice, I suppose, to get a shutout at any time, but more especially in a Stanley Cup playoff game. But let's face it, the big prize is waiting the Edmonton Oilers in their room. It's the big silver Stanley Cup. And that is what it's all about. 2:30 left in the third. Another cup for Edmonton. Just about done. But the Bruins not dying yet. Trying to come in. Prop stopped at the line. 2:15 to play in the third period. A 3-goal lead for Edmonton. Bice trying to cut that. Here's Christian in. Shoots. And a nice save by Ranford. Picking out the right leg and stopping that one. 4-1. Edmonton in front. And there's the time remaining. With your score, the Oilers lead by 3 goals. And nearly all the fans have gold-colored shirts here tonight in favor of the Bruins. They have everything but the black armbands.
Glenn Sather. I like this about Glenn. First, he's the architect of this team. Second, he knows he's won. He knows there's less than 2 minutes. He stays up there as a general manager to let the coach and the players have the big emotional celebration on the bench. A classy, brassy move by the best general manager in the National League this year, and for a few others.
Bruins, all good. Puts one down the ice. Huddy just barely got onto the Edmonton bench as they were changing. 1:30 left in the third period. Galley and Bort pass it around. Galley put one up to the Edmonton line, and Muni slapped one down for Mold, who gloved it. 1:20 left. Oilers ready to celebrate their 5th Stanley Cup in 7 years. That is not too shabby. There's Bork back. Bork's pass. Hawgood near center. He shoots it in, and 1 minute left in the hockey game. The Oilers are going to win another Stanley Cup here in Boston. Of their 5-7 years, this will be their first on the road. So some things do change. Bork back. Icing called against the Edmonton Oilers. You know, with all this team has been through in the last 2 years, this achievement stands alone. For Edmonton, it's a tribute to General Manager Glenn Saylor, John Muckler, and his entire coaching staff, and the whole Oiler organization, of course, Mark Messier and his teammates. What a show they have turned in 1989-90. Puck to the line for Galley. High shot. 35 seconds left to play. Edmonton 4, Boston 1. They're running out the clock now. 25 seconds remaining as Carter steals it. Comes up over the line with Johnston shooting, and Ranford again making the save with only 18 seconds to play.
Well, you know, there's a lot of people complain about how much pro athletes make and the fact that they're not worth it. But this, for Edmonton, is their 22nd playoff game. They played for about $1,000 a game here in the playoffs. The Bruins, their 21st playoff game, played for just a little over $700 a game. During the season, with the average salary, most play for $2,500 a game. So they're playing this one for the love of it, not for the money.
Gould gets in there, and the Oilers are going to clear. Once again, Hockey Night in Canada salutes the Edmonton Oilers, Stanley Cup champions 1990. The players on the ice celebrating. On the Oilers bench, they're celebrating, and the crowd is now standing, and they too salute the Edmonton Oilers.
I think they're also giving a last salute to their Boston Bruins, Bob. Appreciative fans here in Boston who know lots about hockey, and the Edmonton Oilers win their 5th Stanley Cup in 7 years. Well-deserved of the victory, and John Muckler has to be the proudest guy in this country. The Boston Bruins, first overall, get to the finals for the 2nd time in 3 years. Tomorrow morning they'll feel a lot better about their season than they do at the moment. Disappointed, disillusioned, but I think to a man will agree that the best team won the Stanley Cup in 1990, and they're now proving it with some handshakes.
This is the end of the year, of course, for everybody, and we'd like to say to the NHL officials that this has been a fine year in the playoffs for you guys too. They did a tremendous job here in the Stanley Cup final, and they allowed these two teams to really go out and do it on the ice. And they did, and I agree. The better team has won, and they'll take the Stanley Cup back to Edmonton.
Well, there'll be 6 new Oilers as far as getting a Stanley Cup ring is concerned. And there'll be 7, Bob, that are going to have to find a place to put the 5th Stanley Cup ring. Quite a record, since they are obviously one of the newer teams in the National League. And here the players who didn't play are getting the congratulations from those who did. Because you all know you don't win it with 20 players. You got to have extra guys that stay in shape, keep ready to play, and eventually get a chance. So I'm talking about Brown and Bukaboom and those kind of guys.
Look at Kevin Lowe. You wouldn't know, but it was his first. They're just as good, I guess, Kevin. They're just as good. Doesn't matter the number, but you can see it on the face of Mark Messier. This one is as sweet as the other four. Maybe a little bit sweeter.
113th game for the Oilers, 111th for the Boston Bruins this season. It's a marathon, to say the least, to win the Stanley Cup.
In the Stanley Cup playoffs, as voted by members of the Professional Hockey Writers Association. Ladies and gentlemen, the 1990 Conn Smythe Trophy will now be presented to Edmonton Oilers goaltender Bill Ranford by NHL President John Ziegler.
He had another 30 saves in this one tonight, and that's nothing new to this young man. He has been superlative in goal for the Edmonton Oilers, and rightly receives from Mr. Ziegler the Conn Smythe Trophy.
Your first year in the finals, and you win that trophy, and you have a share of the big one. The Oiler players who didn't play have their Stanley Cup T-shirts on over at the bench, and all the Oilers will have them on before very long.
To Edmonton Oilers.
There's one more presentation tonight,
and assistant captain.
And here's Mr. Ziegler and the captain, Mark Messier.
Congratulations to the 1990 Stanley Cup champion Edmonton Oilers.
Well, the Oilers are going to start one parade now that every kid that ever played a hockey game would like to join. And there's not even a band, Bob.
And Messier will pass that cup to the teammates. It'll go from one to the other. There's Murphy. First time for him. Anderson is right behind him. He's next. He had another great goal again tonight.
You know, Bob, there's only room for two more teams to go on the lower ring of the Stanley Cup. This team and next year's team, and then that cup will grow by about 5 inches as a new ring is put around the bottom for the 1992 Stanley Cup champions.
I know the Edmonton fans back in Edmonton would love to see this parade at the Northlands Coliseum, but let's face it, folks, I bet you it's not too bad, no matter how you take it, watching this parade tonight from the Boston Garden. The Edmonton Oilers have done it again. Their 5th Stanley Cup here tonight. Charlie Huddy, the veteran. Bookberger's turn. Randy Gregg. This is marvelous. Muni.
You know, the team with the best players doesn't always win the Stanley Cup, but the team with the best team does. And the Oilers have both, Bob. They've got stars, they've got workers, and every guy contributed. And when you have to beat 20 to win it, you have a tough assignment.
There's Steve Smith. And here is the leader of them all, Mark Messier.
Bringing the cup over to the players that did not play. That's Brown with it up over his head now. It's quite a change. Usually he's got a guy over his head like that.
He'd rather this pose, I'm sure. The trainers, everybody who's part of the team at all, gets this sweet feeling of holding the big mug up high. Takes a lot of work to get to this spot, does it not?
On the way down from the press box, I'll bet you Glenn Sather's now thinking, what's he have to do to win it next year? But he's going to enjoy this. The Oilers charter out of here tomorrow around noon, and I'm sure they'll be happy to share another celebration with their fans back in Edmonton whenever they get there. It's a beautiful trophy, and it's one of the more difficult wins to win. 4 rounds after an 80-game schedule, 10 or 11 preseason games, an extra game against the Soviets. That's a marathon that ranks with the one they run here every spring.
And they're going to get an old-fashioned picture before this one is over. And here's a shot, folks, that you're going to see over and over again. Just a few minutes after the sweat stops and the cup comes home, as the Oilers would say.
Steve Smith was in the runway, Bob, congratulating his parents and nearly missed the picture. They didn't like the angle. Well, you know those photographers. I'd want to make this one perfect, too. They're going to give a chance for all the photographers who are out on a platform in front of the penalty box to take this picture. And it will be one that's revered highly by the people that deserve it.
Going to do it for the ice celebrations. The Oilers now file off to the dressing room where they'll start all over again. Must be a great feeling.
Absolutely, and there's Bill Ranford coming to Teddy Green. Here's a shot from inside the dressing room.
Grant Fuhr.
I think they knew they were going to win it. Everything seems so organized in there, Bob. Looks like their power play.
Simpson embracing Grant Fuhr in the room.
What a great feeling for the scouts. You know, the guys behind the scenes that do the work and don't get involved in this kind of a celebration. But they're the guys that found the players that could get involved. So the Oilers scouting staff, led by Barry Fraser, a big congratulations. Obviously, you've done a great job. I wouldn't take my helmet off if I went in there.
The Oilers win game 5, 4-1, and they win Stanley Cup number 5. Congratulations. Mark Messier with the big parade. As we said, that is what it's all about. In just a moment, our Molson 3-star selection.
Welcome back to Boston Garden. That's the scene of celebration in the Oilers dressing room. 4 times adorned on their domain. They finally win one on the road. And they've opened everything in the dressing room, but they've yet to open the dressing room. Chris Cuthbert is standing by to go in and get reactions from the players and personalities that have provided us with the 1990 Stanley Cup Championship. The series and Game 5 tonight in Edmonton 4 and Boston 1. The Molson 3 stars in tonight's clincher. Star number 1, Conn Smythe Trophy winner Bill Ranford. The second star, Glenn Anderson. And star number 3, making an Oilers sweep, Kevin Lowe.
You know what I'm thinking about right now? I'm thinking about Winnipeg. Sitting watching this right now. I'm told they turned it around when they were down 3-1 in the series, 3-1 in the score. Winnipeg had 2 breakaways. Ranford made the 2 saves, and I think it was Curry come back and made it 3-2, and they took off right from there. But I'm wondering at Winnipeg sitting home thinking about that. And that was the game that Sather phoned me and said, hey, we're going to come back, down 3-1, down 3-1. He says, we're going to win the Stanley Cup. I said, sure you are, Glenn, sure you are. And
but you said it too.
Yeah, I said it too, but I mean, I don't know if I believed it.
I thought it was nice that Glenn stayed up in the press box. Everybody else was around John Muckler, and I think he really backed off to allow John his moment. I want to say a bit about Wayne Gretzky, too. We asked Wayne if he'd like to have the chance to come on this broadcast. He knew he couldn't get into this without making it look like he'd steal their spotlight. I know maybe his heart's a little heavy knowing about this, but I'm sure, too, he's smiling as he sees his best friends win it. Let's go to Chris Cuthbert.
Thank you, Rod. Here he is, the captain of the Edmonton Oilers, Mark Messier. Mess, the first time you've accepted the trophy must be a great moment.
Well, it's funny, we were talking before the game that Kevin and I are roommates, and we said, well, let's go there and win this one for Gretz, and if he's watching, this one's for you, big guy.
August 9th, 1988, did you think you could win again this soon?
Well, I don't think anybody really realistically expected us to win this year, but the kid line came through for us so large that gave us another extra shot in the arm that we never expected, and just a great, what more can you say about the whole team?
That made it fun this year, the kids.
Absolutely, the whole...
Oh, here's one of the kids, Miss. Congratulations. Here's Adam Graves, his first Stanley Cup. Adam?
Oh, it was great. I want to say hi to a few people. Rashenda and Lynette in Montreal, Mike, Rory, my little brother Mark and Stan, and the Spots. I love you, and this one's for you.
We have to talk about another trade, the one that brought you here. Did you have any thoughts about a Stanley Cup when you came here?
Well, I was just, you know, when you first get traded, you kind of, you know, well, maybe they don't want me. And then everyone kept saying to me, you know, you'll get a chance, you know, to win a Stanley Cup. And boy, in all my dreams, this is my ultimate goal. And I'm just consider myself fortunate and lucky to get this opportunity. And I'm the happiest guy in the world right now.
How do you like champagne?
Tastes a lot better than it feels in the eyes.
Adam, congratulations. Here's one of your line mates. If I can bring Joe Murphy in. Big goal tonight. Just a great year for Joe Murphy.
Oh, it was just great to win the Stanley Cup, and you know, I'm so happy to be here. I feel very fortunate in being here, and you know, Adam and Martin played great, and you know, what a feeling it is.
Joe, what was it about coming here that really allowed you to live up to all the promise that they'd given you?
Oh, they just gave me a chance to play here, and you know, said go out and play, and we just filled in a role on the team, and you know, it's just an unbelievable feeling. I can't believe this happened to me, and I'm the happiest man in the world.
A lot of your family down here as well.
Yeah, my mom came, and my father-in-law, and my wife's here, and everyone's here enjoying the big win.
Joe, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Joe Murphy, here's Esa Tikkanen. If Bill Ranford wasn't going to win the Conn Smythe, I think Esa Tikkanen might have. What a great playoff for you.
Thank you. It was excellent. You know, when the team play, 20 guys play, you play yourself well too. So that was key. Everybody played well, and you look at Billy Ranford was excellent today, and he's make a big save, so we win the game.
How do you like winning on the road?
Oh, this is excellent. But too bad, you know, wife's not with us, but we'll see them tomorrow, and I have, you know, family with me in Edmonton, and they waiting for, and just want to say hello to them, and we're coming home tomorrow with the cup.
Esa, congratulations. A marvelous playoff. Let's bring in Charlie Huddy and Randy Gregg, two of the great veteran defensemen. Charlie, how does this compare with the other four?
Oh, it's as good as any of them, man. It's been a hard, long year, and it was just great.
Charlie, a great defensive effort. Billy Ranford played outstanding, but the defense never seems to get the credit it deserves.
Well, we did, I think for us, we did a good job back there. We worked hard, and we did what we had to do. Nothing fancy, just went about our job. And again, Billy was incredible for us. He did what he had to, and we helped him out as much as we could.
This is the story about a team that has come back after some adversity, and you went through that personally this year.
Well, it wasn't one of my better years, but it was a lot of fun when it got down to it. Once the playoffs came around, I got a chance to play, and I was ready to go, and it was a lot of fun.
Charlie, congratulations.
Thanks. Hi to my family out there.
Charlie Huddy, now we're going to go outside to drier area with Ron McLean and Bill Ranford.
Okay, Chris, I'm with the president of the NHL, John Ziegler, and Conn Smythe Trophy winner, Bill Ranford. Mr. Ziegler, I'll allow you to present this Conn Smythe once again to Bill and pass along your comments.
Well, it's a privilege and a pleasure, and Bill, congratulations in an outstanding series by both teams. And you were the best of the best, and that's really saying something because there were a lot of great players playing out there. Congratulations on the Conn Smythe, and congratulations to your team on the Stanley Cup. It was well-deserved.
Thank you very much. It was just a great effort by everybody, and it's just a big honor for me to receive this. It's basically on behalf of my team because I couldn't have done it without them.
Your dad didn't make it down. I was hoping that maybe he'd be brave enough to fly. We saw a feature tonight about how he watches the games. He's a wreck. But I know he's just soaking every moment of this up. Talk a little bit about Mom and Dad again, Bill, and the rest of your family, your wife included.
Well, it's great to have that support from your family, and it's a big honor to get the support from my mom and dad, Red Deer, my wife's folks in Vancouver, and most of all, my wife. Without her, I probably wouldn't be here because of the times that you go through. You need that support, that loving support, and I got it from her. And it's great to have that family support, and then the family that we have in this dressing room over here. You know, we got 25, 26 guys, and that's the kind of family that you need to win a Stanley Cup.
Tell me about the feelings you had as the clock began to tick down.
Well, you know that we scored the third one, and I was able to rest a little easy, and then when that fourth one went in, I couldn't believe it. Right now, I still can't believe this is happening, and then to get the opportunity to receive the Conn Smythe, this is a dream, and you know,
What about that coin, the lucky charm you had? Do you have that around? Or?
I don't have that with me. I hope it's still in there. It's just a coin that I got after the first game against Winnipeg. It was a good luck coin, and it's something that we just had to fall back on, and it worked.
Bill, you're just a tremendous role model coming from my town. I hate to keep bringing Red Deer up, but you know how much we love to do that when we get out of Central Alberta. Congratulations. I know you'll enjoy this summer, and I'll see you up at Eamon's place.
All right, thanks a lot.
Okay, let's go back. Thank you, Mr. Ziegler. Let's go back to Chris.
All right, thanks, Ron. Peter Pocklington just took another sip out of the Stanley Cup, and nothing tastes sweeter, I'm sure.
It sure doesn't, especially the fifth one. I guess this is the cup to start the 90s, and our city of Edmonton truly are a city of champions.
Are you a little ahead of schedule on this one?
I don't think so.
You'll be able to go out for dinner again, I'm sure. Now, you had your moments in Edmonton the last couple of years. Is this going to make life easier for Peter Pocklington?
Well, I guess what the last 2 years certainly were expected. But, you know, we've got a great coaching staff, a great team, and a city that demands winners. And, in fact, Alberta demands winners. So proud to see it back in Alberta.
Peter, congratulations. Mark Lamb, come on up. Well, I think this has been the most champagne we've had in a Stanley Cup dressing room for the Oilers. Mark Lamb, your thoughts?
Wow. I don't know. I guess you've heard everything about this. Best feeling a guy could have in his life, and I got to say it is. You know, it's been a long time coming, and you know, it takes a lot of hard work to win the Stanley Cup, and these guys won 4, now 5, and I can't give enough much credit to them.
We talked about perseverance. Don Cherry's been a big booster of yours. You sat out a little bit over the winter, but you came back and you had a great playoff.
Yeah, you know, things were up and down all season, but all in all, you know, it was a great season for me. I stayed in the NHL the whole season. You know, I kept into the game all the time, and when I got a chance, I went out there and played, and I got to thank Don Cherry for standing behind me. I owe him a beer.
All right, Mark Lamb, congratulations. We're going back outside to Ron McLean.
They're talking about Don Cherry in there. What's wrong? What's going on? Yari Curry of the Edmonton Oilers. Yari, congratulations on the Stanley Cup. Tell me how you feel.
Well, I don't think there's any better way to finish the season. It was a long year, a good year. We have some ups and downs, but this is the way to finish.
I spoke about Wayne the other night, and I was saying how when I went back to Edmonton, it seemed so unfair that the Oilers were in the hockey pages and Wayne was in. There was talk about his corporation moving and merging with a new U.S. agency. Geez, you must miss him. And tell me about you and Wayne. And I'd like to lead you into the idea of would you like to play with him, and would you entertain the idea of leaving Edmonton to make that happen?
Well, that's way early to say. I mean, we celebrate now, and you know, it's been all those years with Dwayne. It was one of the biggest time I ever had. You know, a lot of memories, and I learned an awful lot from him. You know, still carry on me. You know, and this hockey club. You know, we learned the way we play for us, and it shows still the way still playing. You know, it's as simple as that.
Yeah, I really think that's true. That it would be callous to forget about him. And I know he wanted to talk to you tonight and about you tonight, but doesn't want to steal any of that thunder. What about going back into the playoffs and some of the big goals you scored? Did you think you could do it when you were down 3-1 against Winnipeg?
Well, I think you can never give up, put out of your mind that you can't do it. We felt that those games we were down 3-1, a very close game. We could have been ahead at that time too, but we just battled period by period, game by game, and I think the turning game could be the 6th game. You know, when we lead at 3-1, they kept getting back to tie the 3-3, and I got the 4th goal, and we win that game. I went home and beat in 7th game. So there's a lot of turnovers in this hockey. You know, we get a great effort for everybody. That's the main thing.
Do you feel 30 years old?
Not really. I know. I mean, it's going to take time for me. Good 10 years.
Now I know you're going to want to talk to Glenn. We'll get. Can you come as soon as you can up here? Glenn Sather's just off in the distance, and we're going to get. If you could come up, we're live, so we'll get you and. Come on up. There you go. What do you have to say? You stayed back and let John have that moment on the bench, didn't you?
Well, I mean, I enjoyed it from where I was. I really felt good for everybody and happy for the team, and they played so well. It was like a clinic out there tonight, and the coaches have worked hard. After the loss in Edmonton, the coaches were looking at films for 8 hours that day, and I know how much time they put into it, and they deserve to enjoy it by themselves. It was a great thing for them.
What about you? Personally, on what level can you compare this or talk about this? What goes through your own mind as far as your role this year?
Well, I guess the first thing I'm concerned about is getting Yari to stay in Edmonton, but...
what are you going to do?
After we get that solved, we'll be happy. I think that everybody's elated that it ended up like it did, and as far as thinking about the future, I'm not really concerned about it right now. I just want to enjoy it with the players and watch them enjoy it for a while.
Okay, Yari's gone. Are you going to sign him as soon as you get back?
Well, we've been fooling around for a long time. He's a tough negotiator, and his agent's a tough negotiator, but yeah, I expect he's going to be back.
Glenn, tremendous year. You're the president, and I've told you this before. You do a lot of things for this organization. I believe Wayne did that too. Do you want to echo that comment? Do you feel that uncomfortable with that?
No, I don't feel uncomfortable. Wayne was the biggest part of this organization for 10 years, and I mean, part of the Stanley Cup is his. He helped us get to the point of where we are with the development of the team and the players, and I'm sure they all feel like he's still part of this organization.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Glenn Sather, president of the Edmonton Oilers and general manager. Here's Chris.
Thank you, Ron. Randy Gregg's with us, and he's been through this before.
Well, it's been a few times. I guess we should all be lucky that we've had the chance to experience it a few times, but this is especially sweet for our young guys. Adam Graves, Martin Jelena, Jeff Smith, all those guys, they played real hard during the year, and to get your first one's a special one, and we love to share it with them.
You know, we were talking to Charlie Huddy about how unsung the defensive corps is. I don't know if you get the credit you deserve. You had another great year, and your record seems to speak for itself.
Well, we just as soon stay unsung. That way, if we have a bad game, no one expects any more of us. Actually, it really depends on the forwards. The forwards come back, play a very strong defensive game like tonight. Makes it easy for the defense, and what a goaltender we have behind us.
Can you talk about the way the young guys and the old guys have meshed? I saw you walk into the Garden today with Adam Graves, and it just seems the way the veterans have taken care of the youngsters.
I'll tell you what, Glenn Sather has a lot of great attributes, but one of the best ones he has is to be able to mix the new blood with old blood, be able to get that enthusiasm from the young players, the experience from the old players, and it works. It's worked for him.
Randy, we're going back to Ron McLean to talk with the winning head coach, John Muckler.
Thank you very much, fellas. John, congratulations.
Thank you, Ron.
Sum this up if you can.
Well, it's just a tremendous year. I mean, it's kind of unexpected being here and coming out of training camp, and we had a good hockey club. I had a type of hockey club I think it was going to get better, and then Glenn Sather made that fabulous deal with Detroit, and of course Graves and Martin and Murph came on a little bit quicker than we thought they were going to come and played a major role about the third or fourth game of the Winnipeg series, and Billy Ranford was sensational, and then all the character guys like Mark and Andy and Simmer and Yari and Tick, and then Lammer in the middle between the two of them was kind of an unknown hockey player, just came up and had a major season and played very well, and what can you say about our defense? I don't think our defense get enough credit. They received a lot of criticism. A lot of people thought they were slow, but they have an abundance of experience, and we didn't have any problem moving that puck out of our end zone at all, and they did a great job in getting our quick forwards out of there.
I want to ask you about this lucky charm before I forget. What was that all about?
Well, I had two lucky pieces. The next-door neighbor gave me a four-leaf clover after we lost the first game against Winnipeg. And my daughter gave me an Oiler bracelet, which I had on my left side, Tracy, and they brought us through. Thanks, Trace.
Isn't that terrific?
Thank you, Audrey and Jenny.
Let's bring Kevin. You want to come up here and join John? John, don't go away. You can stand here for a moment and share this. John just said how great you were, Kevin. You can echo how fine he did.
No, you know, we've done it as a team all along, but there's something that's been long overdue to be said that. And hopefully he'll get Muck a few more bucks, but he's the most brilliant man in hockey right now, and especially with Ted Green. And Wayne said it a few years ago that he was the most knowledgeable man in hockey, and I feel the same way, and I think all of Canada deserves to know that.
I feel it. Nicely done. I feel at times I'm belaboring this Wayne thing, but you're another guy that's got him coming to your wedding. Karen's happy he's coming, and I know you are more so. Talk about that.
Yeah, well, you know, I think Muck will feel the same way about it. Although we won it without Wayne, there's still always going to be a large part of him here as long as I'm here. And Mark, he was the leader for all these years, and I think he helped us develop into solid NHLers, and hopefully we can lend that sort of leadership to the young guys the way he did with us.
Kevin, this is a little unusual, but Mike, if you want to come in, I'd like to get you to have an opportunity to talk about this. Come on up.
Hell of a year, Mike.
Mike, congratulations, too, on your great year. Tell me how you feel at this moment.
Well, I feel rotten. When it ends without winning the last game, it always feels rotten. But give it a little time. When we look back on it, it will look a little bit better, a lot better.
What do you think happened in this final?
Well, obviously we couldn't solve Ranford enough. The first game, I felt we really did deserve to win. In game 2, we came out and played really well. Excuse me. Took the play to them, and I think we outshot them something like 22-6 at one point. But again, couldn't solve Ranford. Game 3, we managed to play well long enough to hang on for a win, and then the tide came, and we just weren't able to stem the tide. Edmonton outplayed us in the last 2 games, no doubt.
What do you think is their forte?
There's no question that they have good team speed, but much more importantly, they have the ability to handle the puck and finish their plays at the offensive blue line. They make good plays off the rush. You know, people were talking about our inability to get second shots, but Edmonton didn't need any second shots. They were scoring off the initial rush.
And give me a final comment, Mike, on the profession of head coach in the NHL. You've seen it pretty much every way now. What's it like?
Give me a break, man. I'm going on vacation.
Good luck and congratulations. Let's go back to Chris Cuthbert.
All right, thank you very much, Ron. The lights went out here, but they didn't turn the lights out in the Garden before the Edmonton Oilers won the Cup this time. Craig Muni, your thoughts?
Just glad we happened to win it. We didn't want to go back home, have to play another game. We're just happy to win on the road. Maybe it's a new trend for the 90s.
Well, the Edmonton Oilers have won on the road, and because of that, I know a lot of the guys wanted to send some personal wishes back.
I'd like to say this was for Wendy and my little son, Brent. I love you both.
All right, Craig Muni, thanks very much. We're going to try and bring another Craig up. Here's Craig McTavish, and what a series he had. A former Boston Bruin, and if ever there was a great role player, and this team's full of them, it's Craig McTavish.
Well, it was a great series, but first of all, I want to say hi to my wife back in Edmonton. We're coming home tomorrow, looking forward to bringing it all home. And Barry wanted to say something, our trainer. Just wanted to say hi, Thriller. Say hi to his wife.
Thanks.
It was a great series.
Well, Barry Stafford and Kenny Loeb, maybe they don't get enough credit, the rest of the support staff, and he's certainly happy about this one. How does this one compare with others?
Well, to me, I think it's a little more special than the other 2 that I've been involved with, just because we weren't odds-on favorite to win the Cup at all. And this year, in September, none of us thought we'd be here at this time, and it just all seemed to click. Management got us the players played, and it was just a complete effort, and everybody was a part of it.
And you certainly were a big part of it. Our thanks to Craig McTavish. We're going to continue with our coverage of the Stanley Cup champions from the Boston Garden as Hockey Night in Canada returns in a moment.
A 4-1 win tonight at the Boston Garden, and a 4-1 win in the Stanley Cup final. Yes, indeed, it's another Stanley Cup for the Edmonton Oilers. Well, Harry, we heard Peter Pocklington talk about maybe this is a good way to start the 90s. We just saw something, the dynasty continues. I wonder, will it continue? They have a young team, and Randy Gregg referred to that. He alluded to the fact that Mr. Sather was tops in this department. A few youngsters in with the veterans. They've got some youngsters that are looking awfully good.
And they're older players. They're so-called older players. Teakin and Anderson, Curry, Messier. They're not old players. They're just beyond the midpoint in their great careers. So they've got a nice mix. Grant Fuhr's coming back, which can't help but help things. Although Bill Ranford made us forget Grant Fuhr for most of this year. They've got 2 Europeans in Semenov and Ruzicka who are going to have an awful battle to take places away from the existing players. You know, Glenn Sather won't stand still. He never has after he's won the Stanley Cup. I don't think they'll make major moves, but they may make 1 or 2 to just give them a better chance next year. And they have what most teams don't have, superstars that are regular guys. And in no way do they put themselves above the team. And their philosophy is that stardom really starts with the rest of the team. And I think that's one reason that they are sitting as happy as they have for 5 of the last 7 years, wondering how much fun it's going to be over the summer, thinking back to the Stanley Cup victory.
A good and dear friend of mine, Red Fisher, a veteran writer with the Montreal Gazette, said to me before this playoff started that if Glenn Sather were to win the Stanley Cup this time, he in fact, without a doubt, in Red's mind, and in a lot of minds I'd say now, is the general manager of the decade.
I don't think there's any question about that with Bill Torrey, who was very successful early in the decade, maybe the second. But Sather has done a lot of small things since the trade of Wayne Gretzky, and I give the coaching staff credit too, but Sather's the guy at the helm, to get this team back in the right mental frame of mind to go on and win this cup. I mean, to lose Gretzky was far more a psychological damage than just losing a pretty good hockey player and maybe the best that's ever played the game. And he and Muckler and the coaches had to repair that, and that was not easy to do, I'm sure. He must have lay awake lots of nights wondering what can he do to get that feeling back, and you don't win cups without it. And somehow he came up with it, and they all, Bob, every one of them, referred to the Detroit trade and bringing in those 3 kids as to what gave them the extra depth and added some more speed to an already fast team.
Well, he's got the feeling back, so have the Oilers, because they have the Stanley Cup back. Now we're going down to Chris Cuthbert.
Thank you, Bob. Grant Fuhr was always an integral part of the Edmonton Oilers through the first 4 Stanley Cups. He wishes he could have played a bigger role this year, but I know you're just as ecstatic as everybody else in this room.
Yeah, definitely, man. The guys worked hard all year long. A lot of people doubted we'd win a Stanley Cup, and we thought we had a team. It's just a matter of going out and proving it.
The Edmonton Oilers won 4 Stanley Cups because of superb goaltending and a lot more. They got superb goaltending again this year. Your thoughts on Billy?
Oh, hey, Billy played unbelievable. I mean, if you don't get goaltending like Billy gave us, and we don't win it, I mean, you get a guy like Billy play as well as Billy did, you can't ask any more.
Your shoulder holding up in this crowd?
Oh, hey, shoulder feels great. I mean, you win, everything feels great, so you just have a little bit of fun.
Grant, it's fun to talk to you, and now we're going back to Ron McLean.
Oh, no.
Thank you, Chris. Nice work in there. Director of Public Relations, Bill Tuelli. Thank you for bringing this in. What happened?
Yes, I have a telegram. It says, if I may read it, I'll try not to use my really deep radio voice here. My warmest congratulations to the players, coaching staff, and management of the Edmonton Oilers on winning the 1990 Stanley Cup. I extend to you my warmest wishes as you celebrate the Edmonton Oilers' 5th Stanley Cup triumph. You have demonstrated a laudable capacity to rise to meet new challenges, reflecting the essence of your team's character. You're certainly most deserving champions, and it's signed Prime Minister Brian Mulroney. So that's great that they got this to us here, because the communication system here is a little unusual around our dressing room right now.
Bill, tell me what this Stanley Cup means to you.
It feels probably as good as it ever has. The first one is obviously the most exciting. The second, third, and fourth are never boring, but boy, the 5th one, it's a whole new group of people. It's an unusual group of characters, almost without ego, which is an unusual thing. The team character that was in our dressing room this year I've never seen it. Nothing like it.
This is a frantic moment and tough question. Messier to Graves giving the Stanley Cup to the guy they call the Little Messier was one symbolic gesture. Anything that you've seen tonight as you've been roaming around here that sticks in your mind?
I saw the players' faces more than anything else. I was down on the bench, and I saw what those players were doing and what was in their eyes, and that wasn't there in the second, third, and fourth cups, I don't think. There was an unparalleled joy, I think, including Messier and Kevin Lowe, and I'm sorry.
Anything goes
I'm a little
tonight.
excited to you. Anything goes. But I think there was a big difference on the ice. I think the guys were genuinely excited for the young players. Graves, Jelena, and Joe Murphy, all the young kids.
Congratulations, and thanks for all your help.
Thank you, Ron.
Bill Tuelli of the Edmonton Oilers. So the final tonight, 4-1. That's the series standing as well. It means the Oilers have won Stanley Cup number 5. We'll be back to wrap from Boston Garden as the tradition continues. Molson Hockey Night in Canada in the 1990 Stanley Cup Championships on CBC. We'll return in a moment. In early April, it began as a tournament of 16 teams. They paired it to 4 for the conference championships. Boston and Edmonton survived. The Oilers are the lone team left. The 5th Stanley Cup championship of the last 7 seasons. And then there was still the one. The Edmonton Oilers, Stanley Cup champions 1990.
All right, watching Lamb there, I thought of something. You know, I always got a little zinger. Congratulations, great job, no question. But I want you to think, next year, when you start the season, I want to see Lamb there, Bukaboom, Murphy, and Graves. I want to see the same team start the season that ended now. You know what I'm talking about, and I know Glenn and I
What are you talking about?
Well, I'm talking about they got Rashita and whatever his name is in the Russians. I guarantee you, as I'm standing there right now, they will be pushed, and somebody that played tonight will not be on the start of the season. Mark my words, I tell you right now. Glenn and I aren't talking right now, and you're home. You tell them, start those guys.
But you're in good with Peter.
Peter Pocklin likes me. I know. I go right to the boss, right? Okay, but I'm serious. This is the team that won it. Don't start squeezing in those other guys, pushing them on power plays. This is a team that could go for a long time. Guys like Lamb, heart and soul win Stanley Cups.
And I'll give you some credit. You hinted at that New Year's Eve in Winnipeg. Don, as always, nice working with you. Have a nice summer.
Thank you.
Okay, now get out of here. We have to close off the show. Or stand right there, and I'll close off the show as we put this in perspective. You know, we began this Stanley Cup Championship Series by talking about the most compelling story was the fact the Oilers had an opportunity to win without Wayne Gretzky. I don't think there's any question that many people were surprised they gave themselves this opportunity. Throughout the early 80s, and maybe it's the fact that I come from just outside Edmonton, I'll never forget the impact Wayne Gretzky had on the lives of the people of northern Alberta. This team was brilliant. It had dash. In 1988, the leader of the legend was sold, and everybody that lived there felt betrayed. But the best friends of a fellow who was involved have rescued the spirit of Edmonton. And I know tonight, 99 is the grateful one. Congratulations to the Edmonton Oilers, and what a tremendous evening this was for all of the people who live and support those Oilers in Edmonton. Before we go, I should thank, as always, with a big thank you, the people from Molson Breweries, our principal backer, who once again provided you with coverage from October right through the end of May. Our other major sponsors have helped to make these telecasts possible. You can never say enough about the production and technical crews and the spirit of these people who come with the same commitment that the players came to the rink tonight. Thanks to our colleagues for the tremendous show that they have availed. And in closing the 1990 season, I want to thank you, the fans, and once again salute the Edmonton Oilers. Clearly men who were born to have stainless steel beneath their feet and a touch of silver on their lips.
Better than Hockey Night in Canada on CBC was brought to you by Molson Canadian, what beer's all about. By Esso, makers of high-performance Esso Supreme Gasoline. And by Pepsi, it's got what it takes.
The head of TV Network Sports is Alan Clark. The executive producer of Molson Hockey Night in Canada on CBC, Ron Harrison. Tonight's game at the Boston Garden was produced by Larry Isaac. Our show this evening directed by Jim Marshall. Our isolation director, Ron Forsythe. And our thanks to the many who helped make tonight's telecast possible. Has been a CBC Sports presentation in association with Molstar Communications. We'll see you in October.
Once again, Hockey Night in Canada salutes the Edmonton Oilers, Stanley Cup champions 1990. On the ice, celebrating. On the Oilers bench, they're celebrating. And the crowd is now standing, and they too salute the Edmonton Oilers.
I think they're also...
We at Edmonton's Newsday salute the Edmonton Oilers as well. A high five. We've got joy in Edmonton tonight. I'm Bob Chelmick with Joanne Stefanik. Okay, another story tonight, and it's a big one. Well, they wanted it in the City of Champions, and the City of Champions is again on top of the world tonight. The pride of Edmonton is the class of the NHL, and Lord Stanley's Cup is coming home where it belongs. The parties have begun wherever Oiler fans are gathered, and we take you to the big one, traditionally anyway. It's downtown. Brett Harris is standing by live on Jasper Avenue. Hi, Brett.
Hi, Bob and Joanne. I'm down here on Jasper Avenue and 103rd Street, where I seem to have attracted a pretty big crowd. As you can see, the party's really started to pick up here. It's been raining here for about an hour now, off and on, sometimes pretty steadily, but it doesn't seem to be deterring these people. Jasper has been blocked off for about an hour and a half now, and it's not quite full yet, but it's getting that way. They're coming from everywhere. So there are a lot of police down here too. They seem determined to keep things under control. But I haven't seen too many people with open liquor or anything yet. But I think that it looks like they're going to be able to keep things under wraps tonight. It may depend on the rain. Anyway, we'll keep you updated. Back to you, Bob.
Thanks very much, Fred. I think we're going to have to get him a megaphone. You think there's a party down on Jasper Avenue. You want to be in Boston tonight because the Oilers are certainly celebrating a long ways away from home in a dressing room at the Boston Garden. And, of course, our Chris Cuthbert is there. We watched him earlier tonight, soaked with champagne. Chris, talk to us.
Here we go. All right, the party is continuing here at the Boston Garden, and we've got many of the partiers with us, starting with Mark, the Messier family over here. Maybe we could get some introductions.
Yeah, this is my sister Jenny Blum, who's married to John Blum, who's a part of the Bruins organization, and this is the first cup that we've spent together, so we're pretty happy. Hi, Mom. Hi, Dad. Hi, family. Hi, Paul. Mary Kay.
All right, Mark. It was so exciting before. I'm not sure that we really got a chance to talk about your feeling first time that the president has handed you the Stanley Cup.
Well, I don't think that was really important. I didn't feel any real significance to me accepting the trophy. I accepted it on part of the Oiler organization because obviously it takes a whole organization to win it, and you know, it was a tremendous feeling to accept it on behalf of the organization, but you know, what more can you say?
I don't know when it's going to sink in, but what a year. It was a Hart Trophy year, a Stanley Cup year. I don't know what more you could have done.
Well, I don't know if we could have done another game. That probably might have been it. I always saying it's like the thrill of Manila with Ali and Fraser. You know, Ali said he couldn't have come out for another round, but I guess if he had to, he probably would have. And Fraser folded, and here we are with Stanley Cup.
200 points tonight, too. You keep writing more history.
Well, I guess those things would be nice to look back on later in my career, but, you know, hopefully I have a few more years left in me, and we can do this again.
This is fun because you've got family in Boston. Are you enjoying winning it on the road?
I would prefer to win it at home. It's always, well, I mean, I guess you can't be choosy when you're playing for something as a Stanley Cup, but obviously winning at home is a special feeling, not only for because my family's there, but there's a lot of fans that are diehard Oiler fans for a long time, and it's nice to go out in Edmonton and celebrate with the people. And but we're coming home tomorrow. Edmonton is right on for it.
Well, it's special watching Mark Messier, that's for sure, this year. Congratulations again. Bill Tuelli's here because we've got a lot of important business to take care of. But number one, you are coming home tomorrow.
We are.
What kind of scene is it going to be like at the airport, and what's planned?
Well, I can't predict what's going to happen at the airport, but we're arriving at 3:05, and I would assume that based on past experiences and the fact that there were a lot of people out there after the Campbell Conference victory, that there'll be the odd Edmonton Oiler fan out at the airport. We're expecting you there, and yeah. And whatever, and we're getting there around 3 o'clock. We hope to land on time and hope to see all Edmontonians very soon. Of course, there's some other excitement coming up too, I think.
You better tell us about what civic plans there are.
I don't know them all, but I was talking to Alderman Helen Paul, and I don't want to seem arrogant, but we did do a little pre-planning. I know it's Sunday.
Now, the last time the city planned in advance, you were upset with them, but I guess advance planning...
because they announced it, but before we won. But we're going to be at Commonwealth Stadium. It's going to be a huge rally at Commonwealth Stadium. No parade, no drive-by. Anything that was negative in the past about the Oilers parade, victory parades, there'll be no cocktail receptions or anything. The Oilers will be at Commonwealth Stadium on Sunday afternoon. Barry, you'll be there. And that's it.
All right.
We're going to be there about 2. I'm not sure, but I think it's about 2 o'clock.
Okay, thanks very much to Bill Tuelli. One of the reasons this is so entertaining and it will be so much fun this year is because the young guys, Martin Gélina, is celebrating his first Stanley Cup, and you must really be full of emotion.
Man, that's just great. I mean, that's a great feeling to be to win a Stanley Cup right now, and it's just, you know, when you got a great organization like Edmonton and great player like Messier taking in, and Curry try to do the same thing every time, and just want to say I love the people in Edmonton. Champagne for you.
One of the great things about the youngsters is Joe Murphy's family was able to be here. Adam Graves' family drove down from Toronto today, and I know you spent some moments with your family back there.
Well, I mean, that's just great. I think they deserve everything, you know, like they really encouraged me also, you know, for a couple of years when I was young, and I mean, that they really deserve to be here tonight and win a Stanley Cup from them. That's just, I think they're really happy about it.
You're allowed to sleep in tomorrow.
Well, I don't know. We will see.
Martin, congratulations on just a fantastic year, and we look forward, I know, the fans in Edmonton for many great years of hockey.
Thanks a lot.
All right, we're going to hopefully come back to the dressing room here. It's starting to empty out, but we'll have a few more players for you a bit later. Now back to Edmonton.
Here we go.
Wow, it sure looks like a good time in the dressing room.
He's dried himself off a wee bit.
Well, a bit, but Chris was just doused when I got in the dressing room.
Didn't Messier look great? I mean, talk about happy. I know he said it was better to win at home, but I don't know if he could look any more pleased than he looked there with his sister.
His sister was pretty happy, too.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't that long ago that the Oilers won their 4th Stanley Cup. A lot, obviously, has happened since then. There was, of course, the Gretzky trade and John Muckler taking over the team as head coach. And while a lot has changed, you know, the result is one that we've seen before. Gord Miller looks back at the first 4, the first 4 Stanley Cups.
There's a new punch on the block in the National Hockey League. The Edmonton Oilers, by name, the Oilers have won the Stanley Cup.
Who can forget the heady days of 1984 when the brash young Edmonton Oilers, led by Wayne Gretzky, Mark Messier, and Paul Coffey, knocked the New York Islanders off the top of the NHL heap. The Oilers had been to the final a year earlier and lost. Now they were first-time champions. And even though they had won only once, a great deal was expected. Already the word dynasty was being used. The team was young, had a world of talent, and a bright future in front of it. Seldom had so much been expected of a new Stanley Cup champion.
The countdown has begun. 2, 1.
And in 1985, they delivered, losing only 3 games in the playoffs in perhaps their most dominating postseason performance. That series against the Flyers brought some hard feelings, but also brought to Edmonton what fans wanted the most, a second Stanley Cup. But a third championship would have to wait until 1987.
Anderson and Messier again. Anderson, goal!
1987 saw the 7-game nail-biter between the Oilers and the Flyers. It came down to the final period of the final game, but Glenn Sather, John Muckler and company came out with the victory and Stanley Cup number 3. They would be back for a 4th in 1988. But not before the drama of the Boston Garden. The lights went out on Game 4, and so the Oilers returned home to win it on Coliseum ice again. A 4-game sweep of the Boston Bruins. The Oilers once again, at the height of their powers, posed for a team picture on the ice after the game. Few could have known that Wayne Gretzky would be traded 3 months later. But while number 99 left, the Stanley Cup would return to Edmonton 2 years later, as the beat goes on.
The beat goes on, and now it's 5.
That's right.
Well, there are a lot of people down on Jasper Avenue in downtown Edmonton who look almost as drenched as Chris Cuthbert. And Brett Harris is with them, but it's raining down there.
Oh, lots of people.
Thanks, Bob and Joanne. I'm down here. It's really starting to rain now, but as I said before, that's not deterring any of these people. I got a few die-hard hockey fans. We can just get them to talk. I got Mike here. Mike, where'd you just come from?
Oh, I just came from work, and I heard the score was 5-1, Edmonton.
Were you watching the game at all?
No, I wasn't watching the game at all.
Are you a die-hard Oilers fan?
Die-hard, Edmonton, all the way.
So what do you think about today's win?
A blowout. They should have did it in 4, but we'll take 5.
What's your name?
My name is Carmen Caputo. The Oilers are the awesomest team of the 90s and the 80s.
Well, I guess that's about all that you can say. Back to the desk. We'll talk to you later.
Slowly but surely.
The awesomest? I think we'll have to look that one up. The awesomest. Well, we have an awesome reporter standing by. We're going to go back to Chris. He's in Boston at the Garden in the dressing room. Chris?
Well, we haven't dried out yet, that's for sure. Steve Smith's with us. Steve, another marvelous playoff year for you. Your thoughts?
Well, I'm pretty excited about this. You know, it was a team that went through a lot of adversity, and I think we all hung together real tight and went through an awful lot together, and we're pretty excited and pretty proud of each other.
Your partner, Rayo Ruotsalainen, certainly added a little to this hockey club down the stretch.
Well, there's no doubt that he's just such a pure offensive player, such a pep back there in defense, and the rest of us slugs, we just tried to get it up and around the boards and get it to our forwards, and he put us in a situation where our defense became a little bit dangerous.
Steve, I know you want to say hi to a few people.
Well, I want to say hi to my daughter, Alex, back in town, and my wife, Sherry.
All right, Steve Smith. Here's one of the Lows, Ken Lowe. How many rings do the Lows have? You must have won a couple with the Eskimos, and Kevin's got a pretty good collection.
I won one in my rookie season with the Eskimos in '82, and I won one in '87. In my rookie season in hockey, I've done it again. So
and this is special, too, because it's anniversary day.
Yeah, today's my 10th anniversary. I like to say hi to my wife, Marianne, and, of course, my daughter. I wish she could be here, but we'll celebrate definitely when we get home.
Make no mistake about it, as you can hear, these are the important guys, Lyle Kolchiski, Barry Stafford. These are the training staff, the equipment people, and guys, you've been through this before, 5 apiece for you two.
Number 5.
They're all sweet. Every one of them sweet. Just want to say hi to all my sisters back home. We're bringing a couple of girls.
And a special hello also to Banff, Alberta, Canada, and all our friends and family at home. Thanks.
And let's say hello to Mary.
All right. I'll tell you, we didn't get that big a reaction from the players, but here's a couple of players who had another great game today. You guys look like you're on a mission. Glenn Anderson, Craig Simpson.
Mission? I don't know. Are we on a mission? We just destroyed the other team. I don't think we're on a mission now.
We played hard. It was a great series, and this guy came up big for us.
No, this guy came up big for us.
Well, I think you both came up big. Glenn, how do you compare this with the others?
This one's sweet. I mean, it's
Go
just
for
as
it.
sweet as the other
Go
ones.
for it.
I mean, everyone's.
I think it's better. It's got to be better because we came together so much more at the end of the year, and the new adaptations to our hockey team were incredible. Chuck, I know I look funny, don't I?
No mustache.
That's a first. When was the last?